watching the ESPN Rivalry Series presented by Jiffy Lube.
And welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com, and this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Chief Osceola has just dismounted, planted his spear in the center of the field. Down in the field to Heather Cox.
Chris, thanks so much. Joined by Will Muschamp. And Coach, you take the field for the final time today at Florida. Can you share a glimpse into what your emotions are like right now?
I'm totally focused on this football game. They got a really good team, and I like our chances as well.
No one this season has found a way to slow Jameis Winston for an entire game. What do you need to do to change that today?
Well, we've got to be multiple in what we do and play coverage and pressure. We got to tackle him high in the pocket because he's got a great pocket presence to evade the pocket. So we got to do a good job on him.
Coach, thank you. Chris?
An emotional scene in the locker room after beating Eastern Kentucky last week. This is the most bitter rivalry for Florida State. The legislature had to force them to initially play. Our buddy Lee Corso coached in the very first meeting between these rivals, combined to win 6 national championships. And of course, the Gators, a 24-zip run to end that game 2 years ago, the last time Florida State lost. But since then, the Gators just 10-13 and now hunting for a head coach. The Noles 27-0 with a national title, 2 ACC titles, and a division title. Jimbo Fisher, good buddies with Muschamp. They go back to Nick Saban's staff at LSU, but did not speak this week. They had a nice exchange before the game, of course, on the field. Florida won the toss and deferred. Jameis Winston and that slow starting Noles offense will get the football first. Gators defense has kept them in many games while the offense has struggled. Can they do it again today? Austin Hardin will do all the place kicking today. Boots it deep, and in the end zone it's Carlos Williams. Doesn't get a block. It is knocked down just across the 10-yard line. So not great field position, Kirk, for Jameis, who's thrown 10 first-half interceptions, the second most in the FBS this year. Great second half.
Yeah, he obviously has had great second halves, but what we're all excited to see today is how will Florida State start? Notoriously a slow-starting team. This is not the defense and the rivalry to start slow. Dante Fowler and this Florida defense will create havoc. It's important for Florida State to match that intensity early in this game.
And Williams started to come in motion, so an early flag on Florida State's offense. A false start.
54 offense, 5 yards, still first downs.
Jeff Flanagan, an ACC crew in this non-conference game.
One of these rivalry games that you've watched today where these players are very, very familiar with one another. In many cases going back to even their Pee-wee leagues and now playing in this game against one another.
So 1st and 15 after the penalty on Trey Jackson. Williams hammers ahead. Check out the impact players, brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
And Jimbo Fisher says this is the healthiest they have been all year. And I think Rashad Green, the senior's last game here at Doak Campbell, will need to step up. Dalvin Cook, number 4, the true freshman, and Dante Fowler will create havoc. And along with Vernon Hargraves, the top corner, number 1, he'll get an opportunity to go up against Green quite a bit today.
It'd be a great matchup to watch. On 2nd and 10, Winston flips it short in the flat, and that's Williams making a catch, but tackled almost immediately by Michael Taylor, middle linebacker. So 3rd down.
And this Florida defense brings pressure. They play a lot of man-to-man. Here's Fowler coming free, goes right around. That's a matchup to watch today. Also brought the linebacker Morrison and even brought a corner Hargraves. But remember the move of Cam Irving from left tackle to center? Well, Roderick Johnson, 77, a left tackle, who Fowler went right around. He will be tested more in this game than any of the previous 2 where he's been a starter.
Very talented true freshman going up against a battle-tested veteran on that edge. 3rd and 6. Winston backpedals, fires over the middle, almost intercepted. A diving attempt by Jalen Tabor. the true freshman corner.
Yeah, they are bringing pressure, and they're trying to create confusion. They bring Antonio Morrison, who's right here. They're going to bring him around, and he comes free. They're doing a good job of mixing up their looks here early. You can see that time Jameis Winston is dropping back, feeling pressure, and uses just his arm to try to make that throw. That's tough on the accuracy and the strength of the throw.
Andre DeBose, the senior, back to receive the punt of Kaysen Beatty, who is pressured, and a flag comes out. A flag comes out as DeBose takes the return and gets into Florida State territory, but they ran into Beatty. Florida's special teams have been a problem this season. An area
foul. Roughing the kicker. 85. Defense. 15 yards. First down.
wasn't a lot of contact, but enough to draw the personal foul.
Yeah, and it's exactly what Florida wanted to avoid in this kind of situation. Like
Chris Thompson there?
Yeah, Thompson, the receiver coming off the edge. Did he rough him or did he run into him? Did he touch him? Well, oh, maybe it was on the follow through. I don't think that the initial contact was it at all.
Kind of brushed him sock right there.
He didn't touch him there. That is a questionable call here early.
So instead of Florida ball in FSU territory, it's Florida State ball, first down at the 32.
If anything, that's running into the kicker, not roughing the kicker.
A 5-yard penalty would not have given them a first down.
That's right.
Pressure on Winston, delivers a first down throw, intercepted. Another first half interception as Jabari Gorman stepped in front of the receiver.
Early in this game, they are challenging Rashad Green and these wide receivers from Florida State. They're playing man-to-man. They're trying to disrupt the timing. This is a heck of an effort right here to be able to get balls thrown out, actually out in front. But Jabari Gorman reaches and makes an amazing interception there.
His first pick of the season, Mario Pender, the intended receiver, but great hands.
I don't think he saw the ball because of the angle that he was in coverage until it hit his hand, and he still had the instincts to pull that in.
So the Gators in their first possession set up the Seminoles' 39-yard line. Matt Jones is the tailback. Dunbar comes in motion in front of the true freshman quarterback. Jones. They want to make him a workhorse. They want to challenge that Florida State run defense.
Absolutely. They want to try to put it in a position where they can win the turnover margin. Matt Jones, a physical back to Marcus Robinson on the outside, needs to make some plays today downfield. And then Mario Edwards has got to do a good job of setting the edge of this defense and not allowing the running game to get wide. And Jalen Ramsey's become the leader of this defense. And in a game where they can get challenged, he typically needs to step up, not just in playmaking ability, but also as a leadership, in the leadership role.
Harris on the edge, play action, fires, incomplete. Trying to get the ball across the middle. Brandon Powell, the true freshman tailback, the intended receiver.
Harris, 5'11", 190 pounds. You can see 4 starts. They have lost their ability in the passing game, but they have picked up their ability to manage the game. He is avoiding turnovers. You can see in the last few games, no interceptions. So they're trying to win turnover margin. They're trying to run the football and trying to play smart on the offensive side since that Missouri game where they had all the turnovers.
Third downs have been a problem for the Gators all season long. They need 7. Harris fires downfield, looking for Quentin Dunbar, overthrew him. P.J. Williams in coverage, so a 3 and out after the interception.
Remember, Will Muschamp mentioned this week that this will be a lot of 4-down territory. We'll see if they end up going for it or punting. The way his defense has started out, more than likely try to pin back that Florida State offense. But really good coverage, tight coverage by P.J. Williams. Quentin Dunbar could not get any separation at all.
Now this Seminoles defense has been put under pressure a lot by those first half turnovers. They've done a pretty good job stepping up here.
We got Jeff Driscoll out on the field here.
So Jeff Driscoll.
Look at this formation.
This has a little bit of a tricky look. Driscoll there, number 6. They're running out of time here, 1 on the play clock, and they won't get it away if they are trying to do something tricky before having to spend a timeout.
And Will's fired up, frustrated. This was exactly the scenario I wondered if he would go for it. That 35-40 yard line on 4th down.
He wanted to.
He did.
Couldn't get a call before the timeout was taken. Field goal attempt of 53 yards from the junior or sophomore Austin Hardin. This would be a career long. It's right at the edge of his range. Muschamp going the more conventional route after the timeout. He's 3 of 4, all from distance this year. It is straight, and it is through. So Austin Hardin, a new career long from officially 52 yards, and the Gators turn the interception into a field goal. It was 10 years ago. Ron Zook was headed out the door, but on the way out, carried off the field here in Tallahassee. Chris Leak, a touchdown to Chad Jackson, who took the early lead. Chris Ricks picked off there by Jarvis Harris. Ron Zook and the Gators win it by a touchdown, and he is carried off in his final game.
Been a lot of talk this week about Will Muschamp trying to get that same type of send-off, and
he downplayed it.
He did downplay that, but the way his team responded to him last week in his final game at the Swamp, I think that showed you how his players feel about him. Pretty emotional post-game celebration there, and you knew that would carry over emotionally into this game and this week. That's why I said earlier it's going to be important for Florida State to match the intensity that Florida and Will Muschamp will bring into this game.
He made no excuses, didn't win enough games. It's simple. But as a coach, you want to believe you've had a lasting impact on players' lives. And one way they show you that they care about you is to go out and give a great effort.
Absolutely right. They were able to capitalize there on that turnover. That's big in rivalry games.
If he would get carried off, it would be just as sweet as it would be for Zook or any coach. So the kickoff taken by Kermit Whitfield at the 2. Follows his blockers out across the 20. So Auburn and Alabama set the tussle in the Iron Bowl. Alabama trying to get some payback for the pain of last year. ESPN following us, 7:45 Eastern Time. Winston back to work after throwing the interception in his first possession.
And the way Florida's playing them defensively, they are not backing down. They are aggressive. That's kind of their nature. They bring a lot of pressure. They blitz. They play a lot of man-to-man. They challenge you. And right now, Vernon Hargraves at the bottom is matched up head-to-head with the All-American Rashad Green.
Dalvin Cook, the talented true freshman who's come on so big in the second half of the season into the ball game, and takes the handoff for a short gain. He's been huge in the comeback wins over Louisville and Miami. Offensive line, they shuffled it a couple games ago. Cameron Irving moving over to center where he's played well.
You see 41, 40, 40, 40, 35. And on the far left, third career start, Roderick Johnson. Big challenge for him tonight against this defensive line. The athletic ability, the strength, and experience of the Gators D-line.
Making his third start over there, Johnson. Winston on second down fires a missile, incomplete. Try to get it to Wilson, well covered by the linebacker Taylor. So third and long.
It always amazes me to watch Jameis with his receivers just try to feel things out early. Now in the second half they are lights out, but you know it just always seems to be where a receiver doesn't quite read the coverage the same, runs a little bit of a different route. Jameis anticipates so much that his receivers, if they don't read the right coverage, they're not going to be on the same page.
On third down, Winston over the middle, almost picked, was it? Yes! Quincy Wilson, a second interception for Jameis Winston in the first 6 minutes of the game.
Well, the first was by Jabari Gorman, the senior from Miami, and now Quincy Wilson, a freshman. How about this effort right here? Goes airborne, somehow gets his shoulder under it, comes up with his second interception here, this early start of this game for the Gators. Plus territory again for Treon Harris and this Gators offense.
Gorman and Wilson Kirk each making their first pick of the season, each kind of circus interceptions.
And that's the now 12th interception of the first half this year for Jameis Winston.
They hand it off to Kelvin Taylor. For a true freshman quarterback on the road, you could not ask for a better start in terms of field position.
Before the game, these are the keys I came up with to see if Florida can compete and win the game. Turnover battle. They've got to be able to win. They're +2 right now. Stay on schedule means third and manageable. Affect Jameis Winston. There's a check mark here early, and then play for 60 minutes. As we know, it's one thing to play against Florida State for a quarter or a half. You have to play them for 60 minutes with the same type of intensity.
They hand it off to Kelvin Taylor. He is hammered immediately, filling Reggie Northrup along with DeMarcus Walker. Third down.
A couple weeks ago, we had Florida State against Miami, and I talked about Reggie Northrup really developing here in the second half of this season. Has always been a physical linebacker, able to make plays like that, but I think he's really come along providing leadership, communication, also doing a really good job in pass coverage, was something he struggled with early in the year.
Matthew Thomas, the talented young linebacker, suspended for the first half today because of a targeting penalty last week. So Northrup will have to carry the load in this first 30 minutes. Harris on third down. In the pocket, delivers a strike across the middle to LaTroy Pittman, and he has a first down at the 37 before Jalen Ramsey stopped him.
And that's where they, remember we just said third and manageable. This is 3rd and 4. This is where Treon Harris wants to be. That way he has options to either run the ball himself, scramble off of a pass, or just find a receiver underneath with an easy read. He is so early in his development as a true freshman. It's an either-or type of situation. When you're an either-or type of quarterback with your reads, you're not looking at 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9. You want the 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 4s. It's exactly what they were able to have that time, and they execute.
Powell, the freshman, in the slot. Taylor to the right of the quarterback. Now they hand it to Powell. On a sweep, knocked out hard by Tyler Hunter. With Harris at quarterback, Kirk, they've been a 77% run team. Somewhat predictable. Will they throw it more today, you think?
I don't think they'll throw it more, but I think they're going to have to be more effective. I think they're going to get one-on-one coverage, and I think DeMarcus Robinson, if I were going to single out one guy who was one of our impact players, number 11, he's at the top, he's going to have to beat P.J. Williams or Ronald Darby and make some plays, because they're going to have to take some shots downfield at some point against this Noles defense.
Seminoles show pressure off the edge. Taylor runs it to the left. A short gain, but it'll set up a 3rd and manageable. They need 3.
When they made this switch to Treon Harris, I think it affected the confidence of the offensive line because of having the threat of a quarterback run with a quarterback that's taking care of the football. I think they became more confident from the Georgia game on. And when you watch the Georgia game, you had both their backs come close to 200 yards, Jones and Taylor, and a lot of the running was to the outside, designed inside, but bouncing to the outside. That's something they'll look to do today.
On 3rd and 3, Harris rolls, throws high, caught, hammered hard was Powell, but they spot him across the first down marker. So the Gators move the chains.
There's that 3rd and short again. Stay on schedule. This is not an offense built for those 3rd and long situations. In fact, in the 3 SEC games he has started, when they've been 3rd or 5 or less, he's completed close to, or converted close to 50% of the time. And when they're 3rd and 6 or longer, they're at about 25%. So those last 2 3rd downs right where they want to be.
Play clock at 2. Does he see it? And once again, they spot it on the Florida sideline and spend the timeout because Harris did not notice. So the Gators, a pair of early picks, up 3 and threatening again.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
If you like watching football, you should appreciate this group. We certainly do. Our crew sharing Thanksgiving dinner together on Thursday.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks,
all year.
Yep.
Billy Bennell in there. I saw him sneaking around the bottom.
Our producer. You know, the Gators now, after the timeout, the first down at the Seminoles' 27-yard line. All 10 plays they have run so far have been in Florida State territory following interceptions. Knowles crowding line of scrimmage. Kelvin Taylor just lowers his shoulder and hard-earned 5 yards.
They are trying to be able to maintain everything they can to the interior, but Chris, it all sets up eventually their outside run game, which is really their bread and butter. Kurt Roper's up here next to us, and I know that I can almost feel him coming through the glass here, trying to get Treon Harris to snap that football and get this tempo going. Twice they've almost been close to getting a delay of game.
Harris drops back, takes a shot at the end zone. Looping ball off the hands of Demarcus Robinson, his top receiver, who was fast approaching the sideline there.
Well, it's a great call on second down because they get the matchup that they want. Jalen Ramsey's an outstanding cover man, but he's the nickel back, and I think he's thinking run game. How about that setup? See, Demarcus Robinson, that's who he said. If they get him isolated one-on-one, he can do that to the entire secondary. That ball, even if it was caught, was out of bounds.
That's a missed opportunity, though, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was there.
Absolutely.
Ramsey on Robinson. That's a matchup the Gators would like to see today. They're 2 of 3 on third down. Need 5 yards here. Harris still has it. Now tries to escape. Flipped over the head and off the hands of his receiver. Nate Andrews was covering Taylor out of the backfield, but Andrews wasn't looking back. The back had a chance to make a play there, 4th down.
Yeah, remember third down, he likes to look for Pittman across the middle. Watch number 9 right here work across the middle, but a good job of recognizing it by Terrence Smith. Right there, he takes him away, and that's where a young quarterback struggles. When you take away a primary on third down, and he's about to let go, and it's taken away, now he starts to panic. He did a good job of buying some time there to almost be able to convert.
Austin Hardin again. Made it a few minutes ago from 52. This from 39. And right through. But again, the Florida State defense able to keep the Gators out of the end zone. So despite the 2 early turnovers, Muschamp's team only up 6 midway first quarter.
Reese Davis with you. Taco Bell studio update. Notre Dame USC is playing for pride. Cody Kessler to George Farmer beats the Irish defense. USC's already had a touchdown call back as well and didn't get any points out of that drive. Trojans still on top of the Irish, 7-0 halfway through the first.
Thank you. Both teams trying to avoid a 5th loss. Gators with a pair of field goals here in the first quarter. Seminoles about to get it for the 3rd time. Each of the first 2 possessions resulting in third down interceptions by Winston. At the goal line, Williams. Gators have been good on coverage. A flag comes down. It's been one of the areas that has been a trouble spot for them. Give up an opening kickoff return touchdown. Marcus Murphy of Missouri, who also had a punt return for a touchdown in that game.
During the return, holding number 10. Penalty's half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
Go back to the field goal that Florida made. There's Jalen Ramsey. This is what Will Muschamp was fired up about. Now, if he uses a player as leverage to go in the air or lands on any player, his own or an opponent, that would be a foul. He just went airborne with his 45-inch vertical. Will says he can't do that.
Yes,
he can't jump over. He must have thought he was so high. He must have used somebody to help him get up in the air, but he did not. He was good.
That's about a 10-foot standing broad jump.
That was pretty good.
So the Noles pinned back at their 7 after the penalty. Levenberry guilty of the penalty on the return, and is a first down handoff. Cook running left, has the corner, has some room, knocked out at the 25. So Dalvin Cook, who's really come on strong in the second half of the season, gets him out of trouble.
Boy, he has such acceleration, and a good job by Florida State of sealing the edge, and then good blocks by Bobo Wilson, and then also you saw Rashad Green pick up a block. When you get a running back, not just to the corner, but now he's able to accelerate around the edge, that means good job by the end man on the line of scrimmage, and also by those receivers downfield.
Averaging almost 6 yards per carry. Got 21 that time, and now another false start on that offensive line.
And the big left tackle, Roderick Johnson, the true freshman.
False start. 77 offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
It's been a slow start again for Jameis Winston. Here you can see the defensive back Gorman has his eyes on a quarterback, makes a heck of a play there, and then another third down throw. This time it's Quincy Wilson. Look at the coverage there. I don't know where that window was. Not a good decision on 3rd down, and he throws it into coverage, and Wilson comes up with a pick.
Cook now takes a toss. Gators penetrated quickly and hit him for a loss. Antonio Morrison, who made a big play on this field 2 years ago against C.J. Manuel, forced a fumble to turn that game around. He made that stop.
Yeah, Josue Matias, the left guard, tried to go up, climb up to him, but you're talking about instincts and just quickness from Morrison, who is a junior out of the Chicago area. He has probably matured as much as any Florida Gator player from where he was as a freshman, still making plays, to who he is now. Now he's become a leader for this team.
Winston flips it short into traffic. Catch made and a hard hit delivered again by Morrison.
There's a great history and great tradition of Florida Gator linebackers. You watch the NFL, you see a lot of them playing, and he has the build, the speed, and the instincts. It reminds me of some of these linebackers that we've seen over the last 10 or 12 years. And he reacts so quickly, and it goes back to just the instincts that he has and the vision that he has with those eyes.
You talk about how well he prepares, his talent, but the preparation that goes with it. Top tackler on this team. 3rd and 16, and a flag down. As Winston buys time and flips it short, catch made on the run by Cook, who's knocked out, but we'll check the marker, which came out early in the backfield.
I think they may have had too many men in the backfield. Oh, we got off our defense.
Cook, we saw crouching down on the sidelines after being forced out following the catch. They're healthy at that position finally. Cook's been injured. So was Mario Pender.
Defense number 6. Penalty is 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
Dante Fowler guilty.
You mentioned the injuries that they've had in that backfield, and over the last half of the season, Carlos Williams and Dalvin Cook have taken most of the reps. Mario Pender had a high ankle sprain where he missed 3 games. He's good to go. They said he's able to play. So if Cook is dinged, you're probably going to get a look at number 7 to spell Carlos Williams.
There was some confusion of where the ball was spotted. They moved it 5 yards. It was 3rd and 16, so now 3rd and 11.
Probably see some pressure here, man-to-man coverage on the outside. Move Fowler right over the center. See him, number 6. He's a defensive end, but they'll move him around.
Right up the middle, Winston flushed out, escapes. Still alive and flips it incomplete. You see the strength of Jameis Winston to avoid the sack, but the Gators came flying in.
There's Fowler, and that's why Will Muschamp moves him around. He creates a problem with the communication.
He came shooting through in a hurry.
Well, the linebacker is here, and Fowler, instead of being here, he lines up here and brings pressure. They bring 2 in the A-gap. Cam Irving picks up Antonio Morrison on the blitz, and it frees up the best pass rusher, Dante Fowler. Great call by Will Muschamp.
So a punt from Beatty. It's a low kick. Andre DeBose lets it bounce. Now risky to field it down at the 30-yard line. On this beautiful afternoon in Tallahassee, the aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Whether you're going for it from a few yards out or from miles away, go with the tire with superior performance. Goodyear, more driven.
Last year, when I watched Jameis Winston, I said, you know, he reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger as far as how hard he is to bring down. And this week we heard Will Muschamp and his staff say he reminds me of a Ben Roethlisberger because of his size. He says we have to hit him high to bring him down. Dante Fowler had him. He still escaped the trouble.
You saw Fisher and Randy Sanders conversing with Jameis, who was just 2 for 7. As Harris fires downfield, looping throw, diving play by Brandon Powell. The freshman who came out of the slot makes a catch that sets up the Gators at the 28. 42 yards.
He goes after Jalen Ramsey and gets behind him. True freshman to true freshman. And that gives you an idea what Treon Harris can do throwing the football. He's better on 1st and 10, play action throws. When he gets man-to-man, it's an easy read. It's just his man outrunning the defender.
Ruling on the field was a catch. Previous play, it's under review.
I'll take another look, Kirk, but if you think of the plays that young Gators have made that can decide games. The 2 interceptions were terrific hands catches. This play here that's under review by Powell, a terrific catch.
Absolutely. He is lined up, Chris, right here, right in the slot. Now watch this double move. He's going to give him a little outside move right there. And when he does, Jalen Ramsey's beat. Now he's just got to get over here and get away from the safety. Good job here by Harris of feeling that, trying to throw the ball away from the safety where he can't catch up with the ball. And then it's all about just Brandon Powell locating the football, getting his arms underneath it, and securing it.
Confirmed.
I don't know why they took a look at that, but it was worth, I guess, a quick look. 1st and 10. They've got to hit big plays downfield. They want to run the ball, you said, close to 80% of the time, which I think they're still going to do. But when they take their shots, they've got to be able to hit them and execute, and that time they did.
Harris, although he's been successfully running this run-based offense, has not been very good at capitalizing on those downfield shots. That's an important play early in this game, perhaps for his confidence. Matt Jones back in the game to the quarterback's left. Jones has it, cuts it back, ran out of a tackle of Eddie Goldman.
You know, the reason I think it's important for Harris to get 1st and 10 passing is you're going to get man-to-man coverage. And there's nothing easier for a young quarterback than to read man-to-man coverage. So Kurt Roper, the offensive coordinator, wants to put him in those situations because against zone, Chris, you're reading a lot of different colored jerseys. Man-to-man, that's like backyard football. You know who to go to, and if your guy beats him, just put the ball out there and let him run to the ball.
On 2nd and 8, Jones again, a physical back, muscles forward. It'll set up 3rd and manageable. Roper came from Duke, so he was calling plays against the Seminoles in last year's ACC championship game. Let's be honest, it hasn't worked. This offense hasn't worked. It's improved from last year in terms of numbers, but not what anybody hoped for.
Well, in defense of Kurt Roper, I think that had a lot to do with the turnovers and dealing with 4 straight games where they had 15 turnovers. And as much as we all love Jeff Driscoll, it just wasn't working out, and I think that really set this offense back. You can see their skill on this roster and on this team.
On 3rd and 3, Harris had to throw the ball late. There was some penetration by the Noles there, which disrupted the timing. Tyler Hunter got through quickly, and so it's 4th down.
Yep, Florida State brought the pressure there, and that's one thing you always want to try to do is try to make a quarterback like Treon Harris, who's inexperienced, have to think fast, especially on 3rd down. And Charles Kelly, his nature is to create that havoc and that pressure. And that time they were able to come up with a big play.
So Austin Hardin again, the Gator sophomore, 2 for 2 from 52 and from 39. This one is from 43. So far, it's the Austin Hardin show. 3 field goals for the Gators, a 9-0 lead late 1st quarter.
They'll lose tonight, dogs to the SEC title game.
All right, Reese, look forward to updates on the Egg Bowl. Kirk, you know, Jimbo Fisher's told us he's no longer going to focus on the slow starts of his team. The personality is they'll play their best when they're threatened, and they're threatened once again in a 9-0 hole. Muffing the kickoff and now having to fall on it back at the 4-yard line is Whitfield. So with an offense that's already struggling, now terrible field position. Jameis, Kirk, is 2 for 7. The 2 completions have gone for 5 yards, as you see. Whitfield
just missed. He just misjudged it. You know, we talked about in the open about the important part of the start of this game for Florida and trying to get some turnovers and trying to get some points on the board, because you and I were talking at the break. It's coming. That second half's going to come. Now, what's different is this Florida defense versus Notre Dame or Louisville or Boston College. This is a powerhouse, one of the top defenses in the country. So Florida State does not want to dig themselves a big hole and have to come back again.
I formation, 1st down. Handoff from Williams is dropped behind the line. Flying through is Jonathan Bullard, the junior tackle.
And Chris, when you're a heavy underdog like this, and you have some success early, you start to become more and more confident. We have talked so much about Fowler and Morrison on this defense. Jonathan Bullard, also a guy that they move around from defensive end to defensive tackle. Great suddenness and gets penetration.
This defensive line, would you say comparable to Clemson's?
Yes.
Battle of Florida State on this field. Bullard, Darius Cummings, Caleb Brantley rotates in to go along with Ryan Cox Jr. and Fowler as Winston rolls in the end zone. Picked off again. A third pick in the first quarter. Brian Poole this time. And it's 1st and goal for Florida. Are you kidding?
Unbelievable to see Jameis Winston in these first halves. 13. He leads the FBS with 13 first half interceptions. And here he just does not understand or feel what Brian Poole is trying to do in coverage. Brian Poole's going to be out here in the flat. And I want you to watch. He thinks he's going to stay in man-to-man coverage right here. Right here, he thinks he's locked up. He doesn't realize that he's going to potentially come off of Rashad Green, and he drops. It's a last moment. He drops back and makes a play. Comes off of covering Rashad Green, sinks back and makes an outstanding play.
It's a big moment now for the Noles defense trying to keep the Gators out of the end zone. A first down throw, and it's picked off. Picked off by Terrence Smith, who's headed the other way. A convoy of blockers. Terrence Smith all the way to the end zone. Westbrook was the receiver that had his hands on the ball. 94 yards later, a game-changing pick six for Florida State.
Just like that. As bad as this first quarter has gone, Jameis Winston with 3 interceptions. They're pinned back deep in their own territory yet again, the way they have. They've been starting an average at their own 12-yard line. In the blink of an eye, their defense steps up, makes the play of the game.
Rod Johnson, the right tackle for the Gators down on the field, helped up. You saw Muschamp just livid, and that Tevin Westbrook, the tight end, had a chance to perhaps gather that first down throw. You just had a feeling the Noles defense, which had done a pretty good job keeping the Gators out of the end zone, despite the 2 picks, stepped up and just turned this thing around right there with 1:12 to play in the quarter.
I don't know if I've ever seen one play more symbolic for both teams. For both teams. For Florida State and the way they just seem to come up with answers.
The whole season.
And yeah, for the entire season. And for Florida, where at times they look like, hey, they've got the athletes, they've got the guys to be able to compete, and only to self-destruct.
Roberto Aguayo, 47 for 47 points after this year.
And Terrence Smith, 24, right in the middle. Now, this ball's thrown pretty hard, and obviously you'd like to see him hold on to that. But a really, really nice play here by Terrence Smith with the instincts to see that football in the air and go up and make a play on it. Watch here. He throws back into where the defense is. Westbrook should have held on to the ball, but it's a nice job by Tyler Hunter pushing away Westbrook, and then the ball goes into the air. And there's Terrence Smith, again, one of these leaders who had to step up this year. I thought he might run out of gas at this point. But
he's running out of gas.
the convoy leads him all the way to the end zone.
His second pick of the season. Jameis Winston enjoying the highlight on the big screen.
We got a pick. He's
I think 94 yards was about the limit for Big Terrence Smith there. He's lucky that no Gator was able to get past that convoy of blockers to get near him. Wow. Now, how will the young quarterback react? Didn't do anything wrong. Maybe it wasn't right on the spot, but certainly Westbrook should have made the catch.
Yeah, Kurt Roper told us this week, he said, I've been shocked as for a true freshman. He's really played with great poise this year. And I don't know if he's just young and he doesn't know any better, or if that's just how he's wired. Well, that poise is about to be tested right now.
A low boot from Aguayo drives it right through the end zone. Down to Heather Cox.
Well, Chris, the irony of it all is there was a chance that Terrence Smith wasn't even going to be on the field for that pick six. Seconds before he went out on the field, he was getting looked at by team doctors, hurt his right knee, which might have had something to do with him slowing down as he was making his way into the end zone. But guys, there was a good chance he wouldn't even be out there. And sure enough, he got the six.
Wow. Great note, Heather. The knee held up pretty well for a 94-yard interception return. Not that many linebackers ever get a chance to do that in their career.
You know, it really did look like he was laboring, not just running out of gas. It's a great report from Heather.
So this is the second Gators snap not in Florida State territory of this game. And they hand it off to Taylor, who hammers ahead. 3 picks in the first quarter for Jameis Winston, and his team only down 2 points.
Continues with that trend that we've seen from him most of this year with slow starts. I always say it's almost like they like to dig themselves a hole until they all start to really feel threatened, and then they play at a different level in the second half.
That's for sure. But slow is a kind way to put it. But what he's done in this quarter.
Yeah.
Harris, delayed keeper, but hammered in the backfield by Northrup and company. 3rd and long.
That's a nice job also here by Chris Kasher, the sophomore who's been playing more and more for this defense. Number 21. They are crowding that line of scrimmage, really forcing Harris to see if he can throw to move the ball. 21 in there in the bottom of that. For a big guy, Chris Kasher at 6'4", 250. He's very long, gets asked to do a lot in space. Time he comes up big.
That'll be the final play of an eventful first quarter. Winston with the 3 picks, but the pick 6 gets the Noles back within 2. In Tallahassee, this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. ACC at the moment 3-0 head-to-head against the SEC as we begin the second quarter. Gators facing a 3rd and 7, up by 2. Noles show pressure. Harris has protection, fires far side, and a completion for a first down to Demarcus Robinson, his top receiver, who beat P.J. Williams.
They go max protection here to try to give him time. They keep a tight end and a running back, which means he only has a couple options. But there's his man. This is the guy that's got to win the one-on-one battle, and he does this time. Demarcus Robinson's able to get away from P.J. Williams, makes an easy throw for Treon Harris on 3rd down.
His 44th catch of the season. First down handoff to Kelvin Taylor. The next receiver on Florida's roster has 17 catches. No other guy has more than 2 touchdown receptions. It's a dominant Robinson receiving corps.
No doubt, and he's 6'2", 200 pounds. And when Will Muschamp says he's one of the best all-around wide receivers I've had on my team or had to coach against, he's seen a lot of great ones. Tells you about the skill set of Robinson, what he can do.
They'd like to have a few more guys around him. This is not a very deep core. Not what they're used to at Florida, that's for sure. Harris takes off on 2nd down. Tries to get the corner run down nicely by DeMarcus Walker. Gains only 2.
They haven't had a great receiving core probably since 2008. I mean, it's been a long haul. They changed offensive styles when Urban Meyer left, obviously. But you know, Treon Harris, the zone read game, the previous play, he ran the zone read. It probably could have kept it and gone around the corner. But I think you should see more and more of that style of offense because of his ability to make that read and also get around the corner and around that defense.
Another 3rd down. They're 3 of 6 so far. Harris again gets protection. Slipping was the receiver Quinton Dunbar. No flag. Ronald Darby in coverage, and it's 4th down.
Well, he slipped, but he took a forearm from Ronald Darby to help encourage him to slip. Watch the right arm of number 3, Ronald Darby, right there. They kind of collide with one another.
So on to punt for the first time is Kyle Christie. Gators had a punt blocked by South Carolina late in that game that allowed Spurrier and company to come away with the win. High kick. And Green watches it sail out of bounds. So the Noles will take over. Down 2 early second quarter.
Reese Davis with you. Another playoff contender. Some early struggles. Texas Tech against Baylor, and Patrick Mahomes to Jakeem Grant. And out in Lubbock, number 7 Baylor tied with the Red Raiders, the previously hapless Red Raiders, 7-7.
Now, Reese, thank you. The entire FBS, no quarterback had thrown 3 interceptions in the first quarter until today. Winston 2 of 8 with 3 picks for 5 yards. The 3rd straight possession, the Noles start inside their own 8-yard line. A handoff to Cook. What do you do if you're Jimbo Fisher? Do you continue to trust Winston despite these mistakes, or do you try to run the ball?
You have to. You have to continue to trust him. He's made some poor decisions, has missed on his accuracy, a couple on 3rd down, and let's face it, the Gators made some great plays. This one is just shocking to see him in his own end zone make that decision to throw it into coverage. Caught a break where Terrence Smith bailed him out the next play, had a pick 6 to get us to 9-7. But even pinned back with your quarterback struggling, you've got to trust him.
Another handoff to Cook, who has a first down, hammering out to the 20-yard line. That's just the 2nd or 3rd first down. One of them came with the roughing the punter. Heather?
Chris, you talked earlier about Jameis Winston's tweaked ankle. Winston practiced this week wearing a brace for the first time. He's wearing that same brace today, first time in a game. Previously, he's just been heavily taped. You can see it's bulky, it's rigid, adds stability, but limits range of motion. I talked to Jimbo about it yesterday. He said it's glad it's a low ankle sprain instead of high, but still not perfect.
Carlos Williams takes off and barrels out near midfield. So 3 runs for Florida State from their 8s to the 49.
And watch the right guard, Trey Jackson, does a nice job at taking Antonio Morrison out of the play. Morrison has made so many plays, but this time the big right guard at 330 pounds was able to get up to him, and that opened that hole for Carlos Williams,
who gained 27. And it's Brian Poole who made the 3rd Gator interception, who's down on the field. Well, they haven't had to trust Winston because the offensive line opening big holes like that one.
Yeah, this drive, I mean, let's face it, they haven't had anything offensive. They haven't been able to get anything going at all. And this drive, you said, what do they go to? You know, to me, you continue to go with Jameis Winston, but this offensive line has gotten physical on this drive, and they're pushing people around. You can see interception, punt, interception coming into this drive with a quarterback that is just off to a horrendous start. I don't know what they said on the sideline. Coach Trickett had a pretty good message for his offensive line because they have asserted themselves here on this drive.
Here's a first down carry again. Williams hammers forward, gains almost 10 into Gator territory. The first 2 interceptions, Noles limited the Gators to field goals. After the 3rd pick, they got it right back, the pick 6.
Watch this hole on the right side that's created. Cam Irving turns his body, the big center, back to the inside. He kind of sealed it to the inside, the right side, the right guard and the right tackle. Jackson and Bobby Hart also opened it up. Just like you could have driven a truck through that hole.
In the shotgun, Winston fires far side. Catch made on the edge by Travis Rudolph. Not much there.
Quincy Wilson, who had the interception, again a freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, not only makes the tackle but has to do some good work to be able to get away from Bobo Wilson, who was trying to block him.
So with the loss, it's 3rd and 3. Noles have not yet converted on 3rd down this afternoon. 0 for 3. Of course, the average yards to go has been up over 8. A lot of guys bunched on the line. Winston collects a high snap, fires short, caught. First down, Rashad Green, thrown out at the 40.
Now they bunch up the receivers to the right with man-to-man and create some confusion. They were looking and showing blitz, but when they bunch up those receivers against man-to-man, it requires great communication from the defense. And Brian Poole, another Gator who's had an interception, that time just a step or 2 behind the senior Green.
So just the 4th completion for Jameis. They go back to a first down run, and Cook, who's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Bullard again muscling through.
Well, this is going to be a great battle up front for 4 quarters. I mean, Florida State has a veteran line with the exception of Roderick Johnson playing at left tackle. And you're talking about guys who are disruptive, big, strong, and athletic. And Dante Fowler, Darius Cummings, Jonathan Bullard, Brian Cox, Alex McAllister, 14, when he gets in there in pass rush situations. They're a very talented group.
Winston on 2nd and 9. Try to get it to O'Leary. Well covered there by Morrison. Crowd wanted a flag. Don't get one.
I think the fans and especially the bench was frustrated because Morrison's left arm wrapped around Nick O'Leary. All week long, Will Muschamp has challenged his linebackers to not let Nick O'Leary push off. See his left arm, it was wrapped around the waist right there, and even grabbed the jersey.
Yep.
That's what Jimbo Fisher was fired up about.
He was right to be. Muschamp says O'Leary does the best job in college football of pushing off and never getting called for. He said, you can tell Jimbo I said that.
Tell Jimbo. There's 3rd and long again.
O'Leary knows all the tricks, doesn't he? On 3rd down, Winston fires near side for Green. Leaping catch shoved out of the 10. Worked against Hargraves, that marquee matchup on the edge, and Green won that time.
This is a beautiful job by Rashad Green of coming back to the football. Ball is thrown intentionally back on that back shoulder fade. He does a nice job of locating the football. That is timing between a receiver and his quarterback, and an outstanding corner in Hargraves never even saw the ball.
29 yards sets up the Noles' 1st and goal. Option look. Winston falls forward for about 3. It's a different kind of goal line play from Florida State.
A little chippy.
Yep.
See Jameis every week he gets that. It's nothing new to hear players in his ear, in his face, challenging him, talking trash, trying to get him.
This rivalry.
No, but they're just trying to get him out of his game.
The 11th play of the drive. They moved it 86 yards to be in scoring position here. On 2nd down, fumbled the snap, and now a scrum.
Because it looked like Michael Taylor.
Look out, fellas. Winston's got the football, so Florida State's going to keep it. But Cam Irving, who talked about the talented tackle, moved into the center position. He's a pretty good snapper. Communication's usually pretty good, but not on that snap.
No, we've only seen a couple mistakes. One time with Cam Irving with a missed snap from the shotgun. How in the heck does Jameis Winston get that football?
The ball was kicked. You can see it was kicked.
I mean, Cam Irving's on top of it. Michael Taylor, the middle linebacker's on top of it. Right there, his right hand. I think he has a leg and a football. Somehow he comes up with a ball.
You see a fumble snap kicked by a lineman, and the quarterback very, very lucky to keep possession there. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the 10-yard line. Once again, the aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Whether you're going for it from a few yards out or from miles away, go with the tire with superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. What's the call here, Kirk, on 3rd and goal from the 10? After all that's happened, the 3 turnovers, the Noles a chance to take the lead if they can score points here.
You put the ball in the hands of Jameis Winston, and you're either going to look for Nick O'Leary in a one-on-one situation against a linebacker or a nickelback, or you try to find Rashad Green cutting underneath and being able to have like a rub route or a crosser. Those are the 2 guys in this area. The scouting report says get the football to.
Last year with Kelvin Benjamin, it was an easy call in the red zone. They've only scored 29 touchdowns in their 46 red zone trips. That's not a very good percentage for a talented offense.
There's O'Leary right here.
4 receivers, 2 to each side of the formation, and you see the tight end to the right.
Here's Green right there.
Winston pressure, throws, end zone, leaping catch, touchdown O'Leary. His 107th career catch, 4th touchdown this season, and Winston with a touchdown pass to put the Seminoles on top.
And the location of the throw was the key. down in that red zone area without Kelvin Benjamin, Nick O'Leary has become the go-to guy. What an advantage. It's 6'3" over May at 6 feet tall, but I love where he put the ball because of the size advantage of Nick O'Leary.
A 93-yard drive, 12 plays, 5:03. It began with the runs of Cook.
Right here, and here's the safety that's going to try to stay with him. The safety runs with him, but if we could freeze it right where he makes the catch. Watch where the location, right there. See the location of that football up and away where May did not have a chance.
I'm not sure why they'd look at that. A very clear catch by the tight end there.
There's a great look at it right there. May doesn't have a chance to come back and make a play on that football. That's great. For as bad as his first half has gone for Jameis Winston, great job of putting the ball exactly where it needed to be for O'Leary to make that catch.
What a drive.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And Game of War. Play free now.
Seminoles in front. Remember, Winston's first 2 picks came on 3rd down plays. On that last drive, a 3rd and 9 completion to Green for 29 yards, and the touchdown to O'Leary was on the 3rd and goal. But it's the Seminole defense that turned around this game. The pick 6 of 94 yards. Terrence Smith, a long kick to the end zone, brought out by DuBose. And knocked down across the 20. So now for the first time this afternoon, Treon Harris takes over behind. As we go down to the Bears den, Chris Felica with a question for us.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It is time for today's Aflac Trivia question. You alluded to that 2004 Florida State game earlier. Who started at quarterback for the Seminoles in that 2004 loss to Florida?
Chris Ricks was here.
Yeah.
Is he here?
Ricks, did he not start?
I thought 04 was his last year.
Did he not start that game? Is it a trick question?
Oh, of course it's a trick question. Yeah. You know what? There was a receiver.
Harris, a first down throw, ball tapped at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete.
There was a receiver who played a quarterback in high school that had to start, and I can't remember his name. We'll go back to the Bear in a little bit, but they brought, as they often do that time, P.J. Williams off that corner blitz. The ball gets on that right hash. You're going to see 26 bring pressure, something that we saw last year and we're seeing this year. He gets his hands up and knocked that ball away.
Now it's Jones on 2nd down, the short gain up the middle. Reggie Northrup on the stop, and it'll be 3rd and long for the freshman quarterback.
You know, Matt Jones is off to a slow start. This running game from Florida, that's something that surprised all of us with the way they are able to run the ball against Jeremy Pruitt, former Florida State defensive coordinator, now with Georgia. 408 yards. They have not been able to get anything going right now in this running game. Only 39 yards rushing with 7.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Putting a lot of pressure on Harris. BC
ran for 240 against this Knowles defense with a scheme that at times can look somewhat similar. On 3rd down, Harris fires over the middle, has a receiver wide open and cradling at his Dunbar as he went down to his knee, but they moved the chains.
Boy, that is a great read. He had 2 Florida State defenders, Darby and also Jalen Ramsey. Watch 8 in the middle and to the right. They go to the outside with Pittman, and he reads that and does a good job of putting the ball in the money on 3rd down to Dunbar.
You almost dropped it, Kirk.
Yeah.
Came off his chest. Had to grab it on the rebound.
Good patience that time by Harris sitting in that pocket.
Now a first down throw against the blitz. They dump it off to Dunbar again. And a very short gain. How patient will Kurt Roper be with this running game, which, as you pointed out, isn't getting much traction here?
Well, I think he's trying to break some tendencies by throwing a few more times on 1st down, but they're not hitting enough big plays. This Knowles defense doing a good job of holding up in coverage when they do go play action throw on 1st and 10 and Also trying to get enough pressure on Harris not to let him sit back there and have time to make those easier decisions.
3 receivers to the right. Howell, who made the big play from the slot earlier, is there again. They hand it off to Jones. Again, not much there. Big Derek Mitchell Jr. at 303 pounds. Hard to move out of there.
You know, I think for Florida, if they're going to eventually stay around for 4 quarters and try to pull off an upset, it's one thing for their defense and special teams to hang around, but they're going to have to get not just some production from Matt Jones and Kelvin Taylor. They're going to have to be a little bit more physical up front at the line of scrimmage. And Treon Harris is going to have to make plays in the zone read game with his feet.
Harris needs 6 on this 3rd down. Steps up. Looping throw for Dunbar. Intercepted. Intercepted. LaMarcus Brutus was there playing center field. And another takeaway for Florida State.
This is part of being a young quarterback, is you have a safety right here. It's not just about this read, it's about this read. Watch what he does and how long he waits. The ball's got to be out right now and thrown right here when you have a safety. He still has the ball in his hands. And look how long he waits. He floats the ball, and it gives the safety plenty of time to come over and make the interception to get the ball back to Jameis Winston.
First pick of the year for Brutus. Let's get the ball back. And a strong start for the Gators on the road, but now the Seminoles have taken the lead, and after the second Harris interception, take over. Their last possession was a 93-yard touchdown drive. Before that, they had 30 yards in total offense. This is Dalvin Cook. Bounces away. Setterstep, and Dalvin Cook off and running. Out to the 41-yard line, and Jabari Gordon forced him out, but Cook makes another play to start a drive.
6 feet, 200-pound true freshman. Play is designed to go left. It's closed down. Keeps the play alive. Doesn't give up on it. Little stutter step. Goes around the safety. Boy, this is a nice-looking freshman back who's had a great year this year. Without Carlos Williams becoming that kind of the dominant back, Cook has emerged to become the go-to guys for the Noles as we get closer to the postseason.
23-yarder. You went right around Vernon Hargraves there. Hard hit. Flying up is Gorman to deliver a blow as we go back to the Bear for the trivia question answer.
And we will answer the Aflac trivia question right here. Gentlemen, you were correct. It was a trick question. Chris Ricks here, but it was Wyatt Sexton who started in 2004. And the quarterback you were alluding to, 2002, Anquan Bolden.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Yep.
So Sexton started but did not finish. Ricks came on, had a pick late in that game.
That's right.
It helped the Gators to that upset 10 years ago. Second down throw. Winston steps away. He'll run. Gets a block on the edge and scoots out of bounds. Ankle looked okay there. And here comes a flag. The Noles hit him out of bounds, or the Gators hit him out of bounds on their own sideline.
Oh, that's a cheap shot. I mean, for all the stuff that Jameis Winston takes, he's running out of bounds, and a Florida Gator player on the sideline takes a swing at him. Right there. Are you kidding me? Throw him out of the game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 92.
Throw him out.
On the defense. 15 yards, be added to the end of the run.
That's Gerald Willis. He's a true freshman defensive lineman.
Well, he should be thrown out of the game. Hopefully he is. I don't know if that's Florida taking him out on their own or if he's just being thrown out of the game, but he should be. That's where he deserves to be, in the locker room. That's pathetic.
Well, he's done for the day.
Goodbye.
And that sets up the Seminoles at the 39-yard line. Not the way you want your very first encounter in a rivalry game to end as a freshman. A brain cramp. Play action. Winston pressured. Gets it away. Complete. Diving catch by O'Leary down to the 20. Winston once again had to dodge pressure.
Yeah, man to man. And now when you do things like that to a competitor like Jameis Winston, all that's going to do is cause you 15 yards. And now you're going to get him back into this game, and he's going to find his rhythm here as a quarterback. Good job of feeling the pressure. And there's Nick O'Leary again, this time running away from Jalen Tabor, the corner. Man to man again for the Gators defense.
Winston still has it. Gets a block. Knocked down inside the 15-yard line. That's an indication the ankle feels a lot better this week.
But Jimbo said it's 90 to 95%. We've not seen the zone read from Jameis Winston since maybe week 2 or 3. And they'll sprinkle it in just enough the way Stanford used to with Andrew Luck, just from time to time to remind you that it's in the package and make you have to account for it. And if you don't, you pick up 6 or 7 yards.
Possibly a slight limp after the play. It still gets swollen and stiff after the game.
That's a strut.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good.
2nd and 4. Hand up to Cook. Picks his way. Dalvin Cook hammering down inside the 5. 1st and goal, Florida State. Trying to stretch the lead before halftime.
The other thing when you take a cheap shot at Jameis Winston, it does not only does it fire him up, it fires up his teammates, especially his offensive line, who's starting on the last drive, and it's carried over into this drive. Remember I talked about what a great battle we're going to have with the Gators D-line against this experienced Florida State offensive line? The pendulum has swung in the other direction, and right now the Noles are getting physical up front.
Handoff inside. Not a clean exchange between Winston and Williams, who's dropped for a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, you're right about that. It looked like that ball almost came out, and I don't know if Jameis wanted to pull it because they just had run a zone read. Now it looks like a give all the way.
Kind of bobbled slightly by Williams. Bullard once again penetrating. It's the Gators defense turned Kirk down here, backed up to try to step up and make a play to keep their team from falling behind even farther before halftime. Play action. Winston flips for the end zone. Wide open once again is O'Leary. That's 2 for the tight end.
And the same exact matchup with Marcus May, the safety. That is not a good matchup. He's undersized to be able to handle Nick O'Leary's quickness and his size. It's a lethal combination. He's an NFL tight end, but Marcus May was beaten right at the line of scrimmage. I happen to be looking at O'Leary on that play. As soon as the ball is snapped, watch how May gets into trouble, number 20. He lets O'Leary get around him, and now he's in catch-up mode. He's grabbing his jersey, he's grabbing his pants. It's a rub route. He turns around, he loses the receiver, loses O'Leary in coverage. An easy throw from Jameis Winston for the touchdown.
In a bit, Chris.
All right, Reese, thank you. That is tough news about J.T. Barrett and a dislocated ankle, perhaps a broken bone. 21 straight for the Noles now, Kirk.
Yeah, and you have that one-on-one matchup with O'Leary, like I said, against May. And this is a great job up front. Allowed Jameis Winston to step up into the throw with that pocket. And these last couple drives, time it was 8 plays, 83 yards, following a 12-play drive where they went over 90. So whatever was missing in that first quarter, they've been able to get the things worked out and look like a different offense. Usually they wait to the third quarter for that.
Get early start today. Jameis 6 of 7, those 2 drives combined. Now they hand it off to Kelvin Taylor. Nothing doing on the ground today. Northrop hammered him hard. On ABC tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the Civil War. Mariota had to drive the Ducks down the field at home last year to survive the upset trap from the Beavers. Chilly conditions, but no precip expected in Corvallis.
This is not a Gators offense equipped to get down like this in a rivalry game against Jameis Winston. With a young freshman quarterback, there's only so much in their playbook because of his inexperience.
Jones, not much there. It'll be 3rd and long. We'll see if Fisher uses a timeout here to perhaps get the ball back, add some more points before halftime.
And if you've not watched Florida play a lot this year, they have changed their approach drastically with a new offensive coordinator in Kurt Roper from the Missouri game where they had all those turnovers. They just said, you know what, we're going to stop beating ourselves. We're going to change quarterbacks, not turn the ball over, and run the football and play great defense. And it's worked to a certain degree. But when you're just running the ball and relying on your defense and you get down 21-9, it's tough to be able to kind of find that offensive mojo to give you a chance to come back and win this kind of game.
When you're a dog on the road, you're not having a great season, you need things to go right. Gators got the early picks, couldn't find the end zone, and then Westbrook bobbled that pass that was thrown about right here. Smith picks it off 94 yards later, and you could just feel things instantly change. After that, the Noles, despite 3 picks in the first quarter, 2 touchdown drives, and they have firm command of this game right now.
Yeah, that was clearly the turning point in the game, not just on the scoreboard, but also the energy in this stadium.
3rd and 8. Gators don't convert. Noles are going to get the ball back. Harris fires low and incomplete, trying to get it to Dunbar, and here comes a punt now, and Jameis will have plenty of time to work with in a timeout.
Yeah, no doubt, and depending on where they end up with their field position with Rashad Green back, they're still looking to get more points on the board.
Still a very, very puzzling start for the quarterback. You can't play much worse as a quarterback than Jameis did in that first quarter, but very sharp since then. Pretty short punt. Green steps up, makes the fair catch at the 35. So that's where the Noles go back to work. Now tomorrow, get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN, 10 o'clock. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. News and updates right down until kickoff from Chris Berman and the guys. Also want to watch ESPN app.
Sometimes that's more impressive to me than him just coming out here and lighting it up. I mean, he could not have had a worse first quarter with 3 interceptions than you can even imagine. And for him to be able to put that behind him, compartmentalize that, as Jimbo says, and then turn it around these last couple drives, I think that says a lot about who he is and the composure that he plays with.
A first down throw from Winston into traffic. Once again, tried to find O'Leary. First 4 possessions disastrous. 3 turnovers.
I mean, 13 plays in 4 drives and 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
And the defense deserves an assist for only giving up the 3 field goals instead of giving up some touchdowns. Plus the interception for a touchdown. That's what got him going, as he said earlier.
And second down, over the middle again. Catch made out near midfield. Nope, that would say incomplete. Good battle. Hargraves got it out of the hands of Rashad Green that time. So it's 3rd down.
Green has made so many plays in his career. This is a great matchup, he and Hargraves. He does a good job of trying to use his body, but Hargraves sneaks in with a right hand. See, his right hand does just enough to be able to separate Green and the football.
Need about 25 yards to give Aguayo a reasonable chance at a field goal before halftime. Play clock down at 4. Gators say the Noles moved. They're pointing at Irving, the center.
False start. Offense. 75. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
He flinched the football. And Cummings jumped across. That's why he went crazy.
A lot made of Jameis Winston bumping the official who was standing in his way when he's trying to do hurry up last week. Different opinions from guys who said he should have been thrown out. We certainly didn't join that chorus.
No.
As Cook takes a shot on the near sideline on 3rd and long from the pool.
I'm all for the officials are the boss and whatever they say goes. But in that case, I thought the league office did a great job of giving their opinion and their thoughts immediately. They didn't really wait. He's trying to go tempo. This is a new rule where we have an official coming in from behind. He's looking at the referee to notify the umpire of when he's cleared and ready to go. It's just a miscommunication.
Bill Lamonier, our consultant, says that that center actually should be between the center and the guard. It wasn't lined up in the perfect position there. On the snap, it's blocked. The Gators scoop it up. A chance perhaps for Florida to strike before halftime here as they block Beatty's punt. Wow.
And Chris, by not scooping and scoring, the Gators potentially cost themselves a touchdown. With the way their offense is struggling, they had a chance there to pick it up and take it into the end zone for a touchdown. There's a jailbreak. There's 3 different Gators right in there, and they had a chance to be able to pick that ball up.
Was that even blocked?
No, I don't.
Is it just a whiff?
I think he just stopped moving his leg.
Yeah.
McNeely right here, he has a chance to pick it up. Yeah, he just stops. He sees that.
Yeah,
he sees
that
all
just
those,
hit the ground.
But McNeely right there, pick it up. He at least has a chance. So there's 5 other Gators there. Now they got to rely on this Gator offense that's been struggling to get the ball into the end zone to come up with a touchdown.
That actually counts, I think, as a fumble, not even a blocked punt. So the Gators on first down. Harris throwing to the end zone. Touchdown! Clay Burton collects it, and perhaps the Gators a chance to turn momentum back their way.
A wheel route, and Mario Edwards at 275 pounds is in coverage. That's not his M.O.
You can say that again.
And did he get his left foot down without touching the line? Catches the ball, comes down,
Boom.
Down, touchdown. He's good.
Edwards is a good athlete, but you're right, Kirk. You cannot have him covering a guy in space.
Mario Edwards, 275 pounds. Kurt Roper calls a great call here to get Edwards out in space with a tight end. He never saw the football. And how about the freshman Harris? We just talked about they can't get it into the end zone. Harris puts it out there on the wheel route for the touchdown.
So a second potential stunning turn of momentum in this game as the Gators get a touchdown following the fumbled punt.
Here he is right here. He's going to just go out on a wheel route, and the big fella right here who usually rushes the quarterback, now he's out on a tight end trying to stay with him man to man. He looks over that right shoulder, but by the time he did, the ball's already in the air. He loses the tight end, Burton. And a good throw by Harris, and just like that, right before the half, they get the block punt, and the Gators have life.
Burton, a senior from Venice, Florida, makes his first touchdown reception, and Harris and company look to be in serious trouble. 21 points in a row by the Noles, set up to perhaps add to the lead. And then Beatty, with the rush closing in, really couldn't even get the punt off. And the Gators cash it immediately.
I don't know if I've ever seen a punter stop. You know, he felt the pressure and he just stopped. He was concerned about his own health. Forget about the block punt. Remember, the Gators deferred. They won the coin toss. They'll get the ball to start the second half.
You know, the Gators had not blocked a kick all year. This was their last chance to do so. They'd done so every year since 1992. Hadn't done one all year long. Whitfield stumbles. Interesting to see if they actually, rule that officially a block punt. Chick-fil-A rankings. All these teams on the left, the most part, big favorites in their rivalry games against spoilers. Alabama and Auburn tonight on ESPN.
Look at 8 and 9, a chance if there's chaos for them to potentially slide up. They both lost. UCLA yesterday, Georgia today in overtime to Georgia Tech. How will they treat Ohio State with a 42-28 win, but losing J.T. Barrett, who's become one of the great stories in the college football this year.
By the way, as Williams takes a handoff for a short gain, notice that Baylor not blowing out a 4-7 Texas Tech team. Art Briles says, I don't care about style points. The committee will look at that game. If Baylor wants to climb into that bracket, you got to play hard and play well every week now down the stretch.
For Baylor and TCU especially, we continue to hear, well, for that head-to-head to come into play, the resume needs to look very similar. And when you're talking about splitting hairs, Baylor needs to do everything they can to try to impress that committee. Remember, TCU did their job Thanksgiving night, went into Austin and knocked off Texas in an impressive fashion.
Reese, Lou, and Mark, much more at halftime coming up as we join Heather Cox with Jimbo Fisher.
Chris, thanks so much. Coach, after 3 first-quarter interceptions, what was your advice to Jameis to turn things around?
No, we just got to pick up a blitz and just keep making plays and just forget it and move on. He did a good job. What's killing us is special teams. We're losing the field, but every drive's been a 90-yard drive, and then we have that right there. We have a guy missed it. They stemmed over. We're supposed to move over and block it. We didn't do it, and that cost us.
How does that special teams mistake that led to a Gator touchdown really change the tenor on the sideline?
It doesn't. We're up halftime. We're ahead by 5. Go play second half.
Thanks, Jimbo. Chris?
Yeah, he's not used to being up at halftime. Despite that play late by the Gators, the lead is still 5. Officially ruled a fumble, not a block punt. Now to the studio, the Lexus halftime report. Reese, Mark, and Lou.
This is the ESPN Rivalry Series presented by Jiffy Lube.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. And welcome back to this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. ACC trying to make it 4-0 head-to-head against the SEC, but more importantly, Florida State trying to stay on track for a playoff spot as they head to Charlotte for the conference championship game next week against Georgia Tech. Jameis Winston throws more interceptions in the first quarter than Marcus Mariota has thrown all season long, but then responds 2 long touchdown drives. Terrence Smith's pick 6 got him going. But the Gators pick up a fumble before halftime on an attempted punt, and that's a 5-point game. Yeah, amazing job by Jameis Winston and Florida State, again, keeping their composure when a lot of things were not going their way early. But the block punt at the end of the first half by Florida gives them, I think, life. And Will Muschamp's able to talk to his team at halftime and say, hey, fellas, 21-16. We can get back in this game. We get the ball to start the second half. And if you're Jimbo Fisher, you say, hey, guys, second half, we own it. This is who we've been all year long. Now we go. So this will be a good, interesting 30 minutes of football. Aguayo set to boot it away. DuBose standing in his end zone. Short by Aguayo's standards, taken at the 4-yard line. Darting up the far sideline as DuBose has a lane and a couple blockers and a nice return to set Florida up to begin the third quarter. Let's check your Gators report card. Well, we knew coming in there were a few things they needed to do to stay in this game. They had to win the turnover battle, which they were off to a great start at +3, but then things seemed to go the other direction, especially the pick 6. But it's still a positive because they're +1 right now in the margin. Stay on schedule. It's been close. They're about 3rd and 5, not having a ton of success, but at least it's manageable for the young quarterback Harris. Affect Winston, we talked about the 3 interceptions, and then the question mark, play 60 minutes. Teams hang around with Florida State for 30, but can you battle them for 60 minutes? There's a first down handoff by Kelvin Taylor. Knowles have done a good job smothering the run game this afternoon. Heather?
Well, guys, Kirk, it sounds like you were in Will Muschamp's locker room. He told his guys at the half, we must finish. We're only down by 5. We've got to get some explosive plays. Now, as for that offense and true freshman quarterback Treon Harris, he told them we've got to do a better job converting on 3rd downs, get the run game going. To do that, they want more movement up front. Also looking to limit Florida State's explosive plays, guys.
Smothered again is Taylor. No gain. Terrence Smith, who had the pick 6 in the first half, filled the gap there. Yeah, how about Derek Mitchell also? The big fella, number 11, works around the left guard here. 63, struggles to be able to get leverage. And big Derek Mitchell is able to come in there along with the linebackers, but he was the one initially making the play. They've gotten penetration along with the linebacker play from Smith and Northrup. It's been tough on this Gator offense to try to establish that run game. Gators not much success in the second quarter on 3rd down. They need 5. Harris in the pocket, delivers far side, catch made, and trying to escape was Robinson. P.J. Williams made the tackle, but it's a first down. A good throw and a nice job by the young quarterback on 3rd down. He knows the blitz is coming. He knows they can't pick everybody up. He's going to get hit, but he stands right in the pocket. He's not falling back. He steps into the pocket, makes the throw, and puts it on the outside shoulder of Robinson, who comes back to the ball away from P.J. Williams. Quarterback keeper Harris takes off. Could not break a tackle there, but picks up 12. You can see the quickness, the acceleration of the freshman. This is what I was talking about earlier, is watch the defensive end collapse down right there. Walker, it opened it up for the quarterback run. I said in the first half, they've got to go to the zone read to give him a chance. This is his read right here. He collapses down. It's the first time the entire game he's pulled it and gotten down upfield around the edge of that defense. That was a tackle by Andrews that prevented a really big gain. High snap, collected, Handed off again to Taylor on first down. Nothing there. Reggie Northrup has been active from that middle linebacker position.
And the reason Northrup and Smith are making so many tackles is the defensive line's doing a good job of holding up against the double teams. In fact, some cases slipping off the double teams, getting off blocks. There's nobody climbing to the second level to pick up Smith and Northrup. That's why I continue to say that Treon Harris' ability to run in the zone read has got to become a factor for Florida in this second half.
Matthew Thomas, the linebacker, suspended in the first half for targeting, eligible to come back in there, but it's still Northrup at that position. As Harris drops back, fires, low throw, and making the catch is Pittman. Pittman down in the red zone.
They continue to go after that same matchup. It's a good effort. Ball is low. Looks like from that vantage point, it looks like it's a catch. Puts the ball. This will be a much better angle here. Doesn't come close to the ground. His right hand gets underneath that football, but the matchup once again against Jalen Ramsey, and he just ran away from him in man-to-man coverage. Gators moving right down the field.
First down handoff. And having to dodge penetration quickly. Marcus Walker was Kelvin Taylor. Over the years, Kirk, the key for Florida's offense has been yards per carry. When they get 5 yards a rush, they've never lost under Muschamp, 13-0. When they don't get to 5 yards a carry, and they're well under that right now, just 15-20.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this offense is built when they cannot establish the run. They're not built to come up with other answers. They just don't have the weapons on the perimeter at receiver, and they haven't had a quarterback play. They rely heavily on that running game. I thought Florida State may have jumped there with Derek Mitchell. They did not make a call.
It's Trip Thurman, the left guard, who's being helped off. Another big showdown in the SEC West. Alabama, home favorites against Auburn. ESPN has it at 7:45 Eastern time. So second down and 8. Gators to be in deep trouble, 21-9 with about a minute to go in the first half. Suddenly a chance to claim the lead here. It's Taylor, and they cut it back. Bouncing off guys, still running down to the 6. A flag comes down. Hunter tackled him. That's right in the center of that offensive line pit.
It's a hold.
Holding. 73 offense, 10 yards, still second down.
It's Tyler Moore, the guard.
And Tyler Moore just moved over from right guard over to left guard. They brought Trenton Brown in to play that right guard spot with Thurman going down. His first play, you see him over there left guard, makes a switch over. He introduces himself. Wow, that's Eddie Goldman I'm going up against.
He's produced a lot of holding calls, Goldman, with his quickness and his strength down there. So the Gators backed up to the 20, 2nd and 14. Matt Jones in the game to the right of Harris. Harris drops back, delivers a strike to Dunbar. Short gain, well covered by Williams there. And knock him down at the 15. It'll be 3rd and long.
Area of weakness for Florida State throughout this year has been the middle of the field, where the linebackers and safeties are in coverage. We've not seen that exploited tonight, but we've seen that in previous weeks. So let's see what Florida does here on 3rd down.
Empty backfield. The back Jones is to the bottom of the formation. Harris looks over the middle, batted down again. Flying in was Jalen Ramsey with those long arms, the disruptive safety to knock it away. He is so good at that.
He has become, really, that's become his strength. Up the top right of the screen, nobody picks him up. It's a miscommunication on the way they slid the protection. Or Harris needs to get the ball out quicker, but the long arms of Ramsey, always a problem for quarterbacks when he blitzes.
I don't know if they beat Miami on the road if Ramsey doesn't step up in the second half and make play after play after play.
And he did it in different areas, blitzing and coverage.
Made the pick to clinch it. Once again, Austin Harden, a 32-yard field goal. He is 4 for 4. Gators back within 2. Well, for a decade, Allstate sponsor the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, making contributions for each field goal and extra point kick to the General Scholarship Funds. Since '05, more than $3.7 million have been contributed. That guy, Austin Hardin's become a story. After a very rough redshirt freshman season, he was just 4 of 12 making field goals. He's made 4 here tonight. Did not handle the short range kicking this year. That job went to Frankie Velez, but he had a field goal blocked against South Carolina that might have put that game away. And so Hardin, as of tonight, taken over all the kicking duties, and he has been clutch.
Has responded.
Boot into the end zone, and they'll bring it out. Whitfield picks his way to the 23. Jiffy Lube bringing us the trusted target, Mr. O'Leary.
Yeah, the matchups, 2 offensive touchdowns. Nick O'Leary against Marcus May, 6'3", 235 against 6 feet, 200 pounds. Great ball placement there by Jameis Winston. Here, man-to-man again, gets right off the line of scrimmage. May tries to catch up with him, but again, the ball is put high and away from May. And the trusted big tight end, Nick O'Leary, came up with a couple big touchdowns there for the Noles.
Florida State's first possession of the second half, when Winston has been so outstanding under pressure this season. They hand it to Cook. Makes his way in the middle for about 2 yards.
Noles trying to establish that run game with that big offensive line. Become a big story. Again, that battle in the trenches up front. Jameis Winston looked like a different guy in the last couple series, and the decision making was decisive, got the ball out of his hands, put the ball on the money, whereas the first 3 or 4 times they had the ball, I don't know if he was confused or just off to a slow start again with those 3 interceptions. Could not have looked any worse.
Good protection. Winston fires far side, but over the head of Cook. And it'll be 3rd down.
You know, when you talk about affecting him, and Carlos Williams on the kickoff coverage, I don't know if we can go back and look at it, but on the kickoff return, he didn't carry the ball, but there was a major collision right there to the right. And you could see his body go backward. And from there, he went to the sideline, and now he's going into the locker room.
The starting tailback goes off. Good depth at the position, though. And Cook has been an outstanding freshman, especially after halftime in recent games. They need 9 on 3rd down. Flag comes down as Winston scrambles. Hit hard right near the marker. Will get the 1st down, but that's back in the holding zone.
Yeah, either that or there's a Florida player without a helmet on. And I don't know if Cam Irving, who is Dante Fowler, Cam Irving from Florida State, was on top of him.
The 3rd down run did give Florida State a 1st down. This may nullify it.
Holding, 75 offense, 10 yards, still 3rd down.
Cam Irving making his 40th start. We talked about the shift from tackle to center. This has been a battle with the interior of the Gators defensive line.
Yeah, he's right in the middle right here. And I wondered, because of the way he and Fowler got together, there's the hold there early, brings him down. But if you keep following it, he rips his helmet's off. Now, you see Fowler, if Fowler keeps playing, once his helmet's ripped off, that could be a foul as well. That's why I was hesitating, wondering if it was a holding call or if it was a player playing without a helmet.
But Dante has been moving around a lot, and they're lining up different positions,
everywhere.
Trying to confuse that offensive line.
Linebacker, defensive end, nose guard. He's been everywhere.
A lot of quickness. And a great motor. Junior's had a terrific year. You would think he would test the waters after this season. Got to hurry. Play clock at 1 as Winston snaps it. Here's Cook. Hit immediately. Spins away. Tough running to get some of the yardage back. But it'll be 4th down.
Well, that's a great job by Florida's defense to do what they needed to do to get the ball back to their offense. You know they were challenged. You heard Heather Cox say that Will Muschamp talked to his team. There's some major collisions going on here on this 3rd down. But Will Muschamp said to his team, hey guys, we've got to challenge them. Their intensity, they're going to come after us in his second half. He's got to be happy with the way his offense and his defense has started this half.
Beatty's last punt, he never even actually punted it, just dropped it as the pressure got to him. Much better protection here, but it's a low kick, and DeBose comes up and makes a quick fair catch at the 44-yard line. Harris back to work. Gators good field position, down only 2.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Ultra HD from Vizio. Nothing is more captivating. And Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further.
Goodyear with the aerial coverage, whether you're going for it from a few yards out or from miles away. Go with the tire with superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. Gators taking over near midfield. They've scored 10 straight points now after the Noles had run off 21 in a row. They'll take a 21-9 lead. Harris, a first down throw. Has protection, delivers over the middle, diving pick. Jalen Ramsey again. Steps up when his team needs him. The third pick thrown by the young quarterback.
Well, we talked about the plays that he made a couple weeks ago against Miami. They've been picking on Ramsey on these crossing routes. In man coverage, he goes airborne, parallel to the line of scrimmage. You know, they might take another look at that. Did the ball hit the ground? Did the ball hit the ground as he came down?
It might have, but that's such a great effort.
Oh, my God.
By Ramsey.
It's an interception by
I mean, he is laid out to make that play. Here's the best look by far.
Okay, the ball gets to his hands. Yeah, I think it came out.
Yeah, it came out. But can we give him an A+ for effort? I mean, that's insane.
Can you give him a higher grade than that?
But that's Jalen Ramsey. That's why he is developed into that nickel spot, into becoming the marquee player on the Florida State defense. He does so many different things for this defense.
Excuse me, Kirk. While they review, I will show you some of the comments made this week by the Gators. Jonathan Bullard, the tackle, saying, definitely, no question we can beat Florida State. Got to put it all together. Michael Taylor, a little coach speak. And then Alex McAllister, who doesn't play that much. He almost guarantees they're going to end the 27-game winning streak. Don't worry about that, says Alex. Okay. Ramsey, he's listed as 6'1". He almost seems taller than that, and he has such long arms. Look at him stretch out, lay out here. Tremendous effort.
I mean, he's parallel right there to the line of scrimmage, to the ground, to make this play. But
the ball does come loose, though.
Yeah.
Just an uncanny ability to be in the right place at the right time and make plays.
After review, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be second down and 10 from the Florida 44-yard line on the right hash. The clock is good. Thank you.
The defense was out on the field before they even made the call because they were looking at the jumbo screen. But they're not disappointed. Jalen Ramsey, he's waving to the crowd, trying to get everybody fired up. I think he's proud of his effort there.
He should be.
Anything.
So the Noles defense inviting the crowd to get on their feet. And here comes the war chant.
Here comes on the blitz.
Second down handoff to Jones. Nothing there. The Noles have been so stout in the middle. Interior run game zilch for the Gators.
And here's an example of what we're talking about is the defensive line getting off blocks. Look how they're just getting around them. It frees up these linebackers to be able to close in. There's no room at all for Matt Jones or Kelvin Taylor. So the answer to that is pull the ball out. Let them take away that running game. Let them take the backs away. Zone read. Quarterback can keep it, and then he can go around those defensive ends and linebackers for yards.
Third and about 9.5. Harris can scramble. He's got a lot of room. He's got a first down. Scoots out at the Noles 41.
Well, when you play man-to-man on third down, the linebackers clear out, and there's nobody left to pick up an athletic quarterback. It's a risk you take. You hope you get there, but when you don't, look at everybody in coverage. The only guy with his eyes on the football is Lamarcus Brutus, a safety who's about 25 yards deep just playing in coverage. Everybody else has a guy in man-to-man coverage.
Harris has been the most effective runner today for the Gators, only carried it 4 times.
Pull that.
Fumble. They dive for it, and Harris able to just wrestle the ball away from Chris Kasher as they dodge the turnover.
There's the zone read. Kurt Roper seeing the same thing that we're talking about. You have a defensive end right here that's been closing constantly. He's trying to pull this out. It's a little miscommunication. If he's able to get off of that play fake, he can easily, with his quickness, get around Kasher and pick up 8 to 10 yards.
Looks like the Noles philosophy has been really to smother the tailbacks, to take their chances with the quarterback runs. He lost 3. In the pocket, Harris delivers far side, had a man open as the defender Williams had fallen down, but he couldn't get it to Robinson.
It's his guy, Demarcus Robinson, the sophomore, runs a good route. P.J. Williams just goes down in coverage, field a little slick. And that's one that Treon Harris would love to have back. That's pitch and catch for an easy first down on 2nd and long, and they just miss it.
Third and 13.
Here's Jalen Ramsey. Let's see if they bring him.
He doesn't blitz. Harris steps up again. Flag down. Harris is going to scramble for another first down, but this is going to come back.
Looks like
Holding, 73 offense, 10 yards, still 3rd down.
right. The reason we saw the hold by Tyler Moore is the 2nd time since he's moved over from right guard to left guard is he's going up against Mario Edwards. Mario Edwards in coverage got exposed a little earlier. Now watch him with his strength and quickness goes right around Moore, and Moore has to grab onto him to prevent him from getting to the quarterback. The shame of it is he steps up. He's got a lot of room again to run there on 3rd down for Florida.
Negated a 16-yard run. The first down, and makes it 3rd and 23.
Florida State will start spying on this quarterback from now on 3rd down.
They just hand it off to Jones. Nothing there. So the holding penalty negates a big gain and kills the drive. Derek Mitchell Jr. on the tackle.
Will Muschamp's thinking about run the football, bring the punt game out, try to pin Jameis Winston deep in his own territory, somewhere that Florida State has been most of the game. Noles is starting their average field position at their own 17-yard line.
Only the 3rd punt for Kyle Christie. Green standing at his 14-yard line. Green watches it bounce into the end zone. So a touchback. 5-11 in the 3rd quarter. Noles clinging to a 2-point lead. We thank Curtis for spending Thanksgiving navigating the Allstate Saturday night bus down here. The Allstate It's Good sweepstakes. You can win $100,000 plus a VIP trip to the college football playoff semifinal of the Allstate Sugar Bowl and the national championship game, as well as weekly prizes throughout the season. After the touchback, Winston and the Noles take over at the 20, still protecting that 2-point lead. Play action. Jameis almost stumbled going back, now fires into traffic, and it's batted down. Excellent closing move by Brian Poole.
Unbelievable closing speed and reaction by Brian Poole, the corner, who look, this ball looks like it's thrown into traffic, but it's actually thrown on the money by Jameis. He leads him away, but how about Poole comes out of nowhere to a little bit risky, but makes a play by getting his left hand on the ball and keeps Rudolph away from it. Great job there by the junior.
Now a 2nd down handoff to Dalvin Cook, who can get the edge. Cook flashing the speed. A flag comes down in the backfield. Cook is still running. Still going inside the 35-yard line, but the flag is way back in the offensive line pit.
Yeah, Freddie Stevenson, the fullback, he's pleading his case.
23 deep offense. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
49-yard run negated.
He's trying to block Dante Fowler, who's right here, and 23 is right there. They're trying to get this ball, kind of a counter play outside right there. Again, we've seen a few holding calls tonight that have been marginal, but when you get your hand up there on that jersey, officials are all over it tonight when it comes to holding.
Talked to the ACC crew before the game. They know it's sometimes tricky to control the emotions of a rivalry like this. Pretty good job, I think, they've done.
Yeah, they have. A little bit chippy early, but they've taken control. As long as you send a message to the players early that, hey, we get it, rivalry game, it's emotional.
But I mean, pretty well officiated game, period.
They've done a really good job.
Ball back at the 10, 2nd and 20. Jameis steps up in the flat to Cook, tries to get away, breaks a couple tackles, still running. Dalvin Cook showing why he is a tremendous second half weapon, and now another flag comes out on the far sideline of the Gator bench. It's going to be another personal foul out of bounds on Florida.
After the player is out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 2 on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
It's Jabari Gorman, 15, tacked onto the 30-yard play.
Another mental error. How about Michael Taylor trying to stay with Dalvin Cook? Talking about holds, I think the true freshman here got away with one going up against Brian Cox. He definitely holds here as Jameis Winston steps up in the pocket, but there's no way Michael Taylor or middle linebackers can stay in coverage with Dalvin Cook.
This is Pender taking the handoff. Just praise the officials and you say he missed a hold right there.
Yeah, I think he did.
All right, Heather.
Well, Chris and Kirk, you're seeing a lot of Dalvin Cook and Mario Pender because the FSU offense without running back Carlos Williams the remainder of the game after suffering a concussion during the last series. He's back on the field after being diagnosed in the locker room, but no helmet and out for the rest of the night.
Heather, thank you. Yeah, just blocking on a kickoff return. They lose the starting tailback. So it's up to Cook and Pender.
Yeah, Pender is very similar to Cook as far as his height, weight, and how explosive and physical he can run.
It's getting chippier, Kirk, isn't it?
Sure is.
Jalen Tabor, a freshman, back chirping with the sidelines there. He was chirping at Fisher a little bit as Winston steps up, spins away, takes a hard hit. It's back near the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, that was good coverage downfield. They took every option away from Jameis, forced him to step up. And I know he's still laboring a bit, but he does look healthier this week than we've seen since the Louisville game. Running some zone reads, scrambling around, quarterback run. He's been a little bit more effective with his feet tonight than he has been in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Still appears to be limping a little bit, but I agree, much more mobile than the Boston College game. Rudolph in motion on 3rd and 11. Winston well protected, picked off, intercepted. Poole has had a monster game, sets up Florida at the 31, a 4th Winston interception.
And it's, I'll tell you what, Chris, for the 2nd time, he doesn't locate Brian Poole in coverage. Poole is right here, 24, and watch how he sits right underneath. Here's the route. He doesn't even see Poole right here, or he underestimates his size and ability to go up and make the play. But Poole just kind of hiding back in coverage, kind of in a robber situation, right in the middle of that defense. Comes up with another big-time play for the Gators. You're right. He has had a big night, not just with the 2 interceptions, but also making plays in other areas.
Junior from Bradenton had 1 pick. This season has 2 tonight. Handoff. Another short gain. They just grab the tailback Taylor and throw him backwards.
Surprised that Poole didn't try to take that to the corner, to the outside when he had that interception. For whatever reason.
They're just nitpicking now.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I love the guy. He's a great player, but boy, there's no way Jameis Winston catches him if he stays to the right and goes to the sideline.
Career high 4 interceptions for Jameis now. Can the Gators take the lead, cash it in? Harris, a backward pass, gets the ball up to Robinson, gets a block on the edge. A flag comes in where the block was being thrown. It was LaTroy Pittman tied up with a couple, and now another flag comes in as he was jawing at the official. That is a costly mistake by Pittman.
And now he's going after his own player.
Now, we said, Kirk, the emotions have been pretty much held in check, but tight game, late third quarter, starting to bubble up in a big way. Going to be 2 fouls on the Gators. Yep, a hold and then an unsportsmanlike conduct after the play was over.
Yeah, that'll be
2 fouls on the play, 1 live, 1 after the play. Holding, number 9, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 9. 15 yards to be administered from the succeeding spot. Still 2nd down. That is number 9's first unsportsmanlike foul.
Chris, this is a problem here for me is the holding call right here. I mean, you see that on almost every play, and then he puts Hunter on his back. That was questionable. Now, what happens here, you don't condone, you hate to see that. I'm glad the officials flagged him for that, whatever he said. But another holding call that was questionable.
As soon as I praise the job this crew done, you take issue with 2 holding calls, 1 not made and then 1 called. In any case, though, Pittman lost his cool, said something. Gators back in their own territory. Harris now trying to escape. Makes a man miss and dives down at the 42-yard line, getting some of the yardage back. It'll still be 3rd and very long.
It's talked about they're going to have to start to spy against him, and they spy right here in the middle linebacker, anticipating. This is starting to become Florida's best play as everybody's covered. Smith's going to take off. Harris is going to take off and try to make a play with his feet. Florida State anticipating that. There's Terrence Smith that time to prevent him from picking up even more yards. He did shake him. Remember, there could be 4-down territory here with Will Muschamp.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter on 3rd and 21. Harris steps up. Caught. Back to the 34-yard line is Demarcus Robinson. This would be very long field goal try.
He's bringing his field goal unit out.
We talked about Austin Hardin, the sophomore from Atlanta, who's taken over all the place-kicking duties, replacing Velez, who was 12 of 14 this year, but had 1 blocked. Made a career-long 52-yarder earlier. And this is right at 52 yards as well, trying to go 5 for 5 and give the Gators a 1-point lead. Nope, pushed it to the right. And a flag is down. Hold on, a flag is down.
Remember, Will Muschamp was frustrated the last time that Jalen Ramsey went up in the air. And I don't know if that's what the flag is about. Nope, looks like it's going to go against Florida, but that's what Will Muschamp was fired up earlier.
There is no foul for leaping over the line of scrimmage.
Muschamp tried to get the call made earlier, didn't succeed. They threw a flag this time, but they'll pick it up. And so Hardin narrowly missing a field goal that would have given the Gators the lead with 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's the leap. Keep an eye on number 8.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey goes airborne, doesn't use anybody to help him go up in the air, and doesn't land feet first, or doesn't land on an opponent or one of his own players. And that's why they picked up the flag. Look, had the distance.
Sure did.
Just missed it right. Seems like every time he has kicked a field goal tonight, he's hit it on the sweet spot every time.
So the 2 penalties against Pittman, pushing the Gators back and spoiling the scoring opportunity as the Noles take over. Cook running free in the final play of the 3rd quarter moves the Noles into Florida territory. So 15 minutes to go, a back and forth rivalry game with the intensity picking up. Back after these messages for the final quarter. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. So Jameis Winston has 9 completions through 3 quarters, 2 touchdowns to O'Leary, 4 interceptions, but the Gators have converted those 4 picks into only 6 points. And so the Noles take over to begin the final quarter in plus territory. Dalvin Cook, so good. Third and fourth quarters against defenses that begin to wear down.
Jameis Winston with 4 interceptions today. 20 FBS games with quarterbacks throwing 4 interceptions, 4+ interceptions. Look what they've done.
0-20. The Noles would be the one team, though, to defy that.
If there's anybody that can do it,
yes.
it's Jimbo Fisher and the Noles. And his ability to block out mistakes and focus on the next play.
Second down, far side delivery, out of bounds, first down is Bobo Wilson. Talked about the biggest deficits for the Noles in these 6 games in the left column. What they ended up doing, 9-zip was the biggest deficit today, but it could have been worse. That's when the pick 6 happened by Smith to cut into that Gator lead. And Florida was down in the red zone.
Only thing different between all those opponents, with the exception of maybe Clemson, is this is a different defense. This is a defense that has made plays all year for Florida.
First down. It's not just Winston getting sharper in the second half. We've talked about the entire team playing better when threatened. The offensive line blocks better. Yards per carry go up. Protection gets better. The defense gets much better. They stop the opponents running and get the ball back. It's a group effort.
The backs run harder.
Yeah.
They seem to spring that big 15, 20, 30-yard gain.
Have we ever seen a team finish better than this one in college football? Cook takes off. Takes a shot at the 31-yard line. Tabor made the tackle. Seeing these playoff contenders in action today. Ohio State survived, but a costly win as Barrett gets knocked out with a fractured ankle. We'll see Mariota and the Ducks tonight on ABC, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern from Corvallis. Baylor's got the lead. Mississippi State battling with Ole Miss, and the Rebels are in front there in the Egg Bowl. This is Pender knocked down. All these rivalry games as advertised. The underdogs battling hard.
Absolutely. You knew coming in the emotions of these games. They always seem to be competitive, and the team that has nothing to lose always plays a little bit chippier and a little bit more aggressively. To these safeties, Jabari Gorman, Marcus May, how they tackle here in this fourth quarter will be big. We saw May lose Cook. That time we saw Gorman come up and be much better in coming up to defend the run.
Seminoles need 2 on third down. Cook is to the right of Winston. Jameis is going to throw. Flushed out. Gets away. Stays alive, but is now dropped. A sack on 3rd and 2. Dante Fowler pressured him. Jameis gets up a little slowly. Darius Cummings was there to clean it up.
Well, and I'll tell you, most of these routes, Chris, were taking a long time to be run by the Florida State receivers. You watch these guys go downfield, with the exception of a crossing route here over the middle, who he had, but he had to avoid Dante Fowler. Everybody else was running downfield, and eventually the Gators close in on him. Cox misses him low, and then 2 big Gators come in there to finish it off. Fowler and also Cummings.
Interesting call, Kirk, on 3rd and 2. They had gotten the running game going. A drop back situation for Winston. Let's take a look and see whether Winston lost the ball. They're going to review this at the end of this sack. They ruled that he was down before fumbling. Ted Jackson is the replay official.
Fowler ends up with the ball in his hands, but it's a matter of whether or not Jameis is down. Is he on top of Fowler there before the ball comes out?
The defender has the ball, but is Jameis hit the ground? Because you're right, he was.
After review, the running on the field is confirmed. The runner was down. 4th down.
I think he landed on Fowler, but then rolled over, and his body did hit the ground. So no fumble, but also no field goal attempt. They don't go with the long attempt from Aguayo here. They're going to punt it.
And not only the call there on 3rd and 2, drop back, but the routes. I mean, they were going downfield 10 or 15 yards downfield instead of having some shorter crossing routes underneath against the linebackers. They went downfield looking for a bigger play.
Gators trying to be alert for a potential fake here. And it is a fake. They snap it short. And getting the tackle there to prevent the first down. They don't get it.
Look, Alex Anzalone, the linebacker, the backup linebacker, is there to make the play. 34 in white. Chris, you were talking about it. Florida's
big Mario Edwards.
Yeah, Mario Edwards gets the ball in his hands, but the linebacker comes in there, goes low, thankfully, and keeps Mario Edwards short of the first down.
Unlike the
Reese Davis with you. AT&T Inside the Headset takes you inside the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss on top of Mississippi State 17-10. Jalen Walton going to be swarmed under by Bulldogs until he's not. He's loose and he goes 91 to the house. And we might very well have an opening in that top 4. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee. Ole Miss late in the third, up 2 touchdowns, Chris.
Now would snap a 4-game SEC losing streak by the Rebels and open up a slot. You're exactly right, Reese. Harris now, a downfield shot, has a man wide open, jump ball. Robinson did not come down with it, inbounds. He's claiming he did. Take a look at it, perhaps.
Did his right foot come down before the left foot? Let's watch the right foot to see if it came down right there. I think his right toe touched before he was out of bounds.
Certainly did.
They're going to review this. This is a catch. Ball is caught. He efforted to get the right foot down.
Right
touch,
there.
And then he goes out of bounds. That's a catch. Ball at the 30 or the 26-yard line.
The bang play.
On the field, the catch was made out of bounds. That play is under review.
Official in perfect position to see it. Rolled it incomplete.
Now it's easy for us to sit here in super slow-mo. Let's bring in the high zoom lens. But he catches it. I thought he got his right foot down. It was a bang play. Tough to see, but now that we've looked at it 5 different times, there's no question. That's
DeMarcus pointed right to it. He pointed right down to the spot and says, sir, I believe I got the right foot down.
Yeah, right there, correct. It's done.
Yeah.
And once that right foot is down, it doesn't matter that the left foot came down out of bounds. It's a catch.
Kirk, we've seen very few downfield throws by Harris. They knew they'd had their chances earlier. Brandon Powell came out of the slot, made a catch. That's really the first time that Robinson has been open deep downfield and the quarterbacks found him.
Well, and he got away from coverage in a hurry. We talked in the open, we talked all week about how important it was to get separation from Darby and Williams.
The receiver caught the ball with a foot inbounds.
Yep.
It'll be first down Florida at the 25-yard line.
And Will Muschamp even said this week, guys, we had moments against South Carolina where we had the guys open downfield. We just weren't able to get them the football with a young quarterback. Well, Treon Harris tonight has had opportunities where he's had some people get away from the defenders, and he's made the throws. That time on 1st and 10, how about the call by Kurt Roper? Get one-on-one on the outside. The quarterback makes the throw, and a heck of an effort by Demarcus Robinson to get that right toe down.
Picked up 41 yards. And with some hesitation, there's a flag down. The Gators are moving. This is not Canadian football. Can't have a couple of guys move.
Martin snap, false start, 88 offense, 5 yards, still first down.
It's Burton, the tight end. So the Gators within field goal range for Hardin, who's 4 or 5, to perhaps take the lead if they don't start moving backwards. 9th penalty for the Gators. It had been a pretty clean first half. Pretty sloppy second half. Harris hit in the backfield and dropped. DeMarcus Walker plowed through, joined by Goldman. Gators are going backwards.
Yeah, outstanding penetration up front. Eddie Goldman and DeMarcus Walker. You'll see 44 getting in there in a hurry. Right there makes the initial contact. Eddie Goldman also put in a position to be able to win his block as well. So this is a defensive line that has clearly had the advantage against Florida. The only running they really have is, again, Harris when he's running some kind of option look or scrambling, many times off of the pass.
Lose 5 with the penalty and 4 with the run. On 2nd and 19, Harris fires behind Robinson, running a slant against Williams. 3rd and 19.
With the way Harden has kicked tonight, 4 for 5, and even the one he missed, he hit well. You wonder if instead of going for the first down, you start to think about maybe getting the ball towards the middle of the field and trying to pick up a few yards.
I totally agree. Unlikely to convert the 3rd and 19, but they can make it an easier field goal attempt.
Try to get it to the middle.
They hand it off. Jones gets the edge, is upended at the 25-yard line by Williams. So it'll be about a 42-yard field goal, not from the center, however.
Well, they picked up yards, though. They got some good yards there with that carry. One of the first times all game we've seen a back get to the edge, get to the outside of the defense, something they did all day against Georgia. They've not been able to do tonight at all against this Florida State defense.
Harden made his first 4, missed his last one from 52, this from 42 for the lead. Nope, wide right again. And the Seminoles still in front. 4 for 6 now for the sophomore.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Jiffy Lube. Leave worry behind and stop by Jiffy Lube today for a signature service oil change.
Saw Charlie Ward, 1993 Heisman Trophy winner at the Nissan Heisman House today, getting fans ready. So Boston College last week missed a potential go-ahead field goal in the final minutes. Jameis drove FSU down, and Aguayo won it with a field goal. Now the Gators have missed a couple field goals with a chance to take the lead. A flag comes down on the first down carry by Cook. Give credit, though, to the Florida State defense, Kirk. They've been put in bad positions by their offense the entire game. They've limited the running game of Florida, limited the big plays, clinging to a lead.
Yep.
And they've accounted for a touchdown as well, the pick 6.
Number 6 on the defense, 5 yards, still first down.
We got Dante Fowler there. Rivalry action continues from Tuscaloosa, the Iron Bowl, 7:45, following us on ESPN.
We were talking at the break. I mean, you're so used to the second half, Jameis Winston emerging and becoming kind of the hero. But this Florida State defense has been put in some tough situations as far as field position is concerned all night, and they have answered the bell. They've given up field goals, but no touchdowns.
First and 5, Cook hit by Anzalone after a short gain. Jameis in the second half, Kirk, not the customary performance, just 2 of 5, 38 yards and that interception.
This is usually the point in the game. This is where Florida is going to have to really be able to step up, because what we've seen this year is Florida State. Now, I know they didn't do it against Boston College, but this is usually where they start to take the game over and start to get some momentum created with their running game and Jameis Winston making some big throws.
I formation. Cook running right. Penetration hit for a loss. Michael Taylor came flying through. It'll be 3rd and long now.
We just talked about how they got to answer the bell and get ready for this Florida State attack. That's one way to do it with Michael Taylor and Antonio Morrison. These guys have been active all night long, and the speed again of a Florida linebacker. The Florida State line cannot get up to him because of his recognition of the play and the quickness and speed to be able to get to the ball carrier. No chance for that Florida State line.
Taylor trying to extend his career. One of the seniors who will get to play in a bowl game. Not coached by Muschamp, but making some plays tonight. So 3rd and 8. Gators crowding the line. Winston gets good protection. Takes off. Headed for the marker, tackled high and hard by Dante Fowler. But he does get first down yardage.
Well, this is where Jameis, he's looking. His eyes are up, looking for that first down marker. Dante Fowler is closing in. A major collision, but the awareness, he saw the man-to-man coverage, and even with that bad ankle, he still fights and gets that first down.
Took a shot to the head there. There's no flag. Winston showing much better mobility on that ankle this week. It's getting healthier. Crucial first down to keep the clock moving. Cook takes off. They tried to rip the ball free, and then Cook almost busted a really long gain. Gets it into Florida territory. 17 yards.
You better be ready. Trey Jackson leads the way, pulls from the right, 54. Also the tight end, Nick O'Leary, picks up a block. And with the quickness of Dalvin Cook, if you don't have gap integrity, he's going to make one guy miss. We've seen him do it all year. He's going to take it all the way to the house.
Carlos Williams knocked out of the game with a concussion, but we've seen Cook just take over the running game in second halves of games. Louisville, Miami, now a career high 124 yards. He's got it again. Wrapped up for a short gain as we check back with Reese Davis for an update in the studio. Reese.
Chris, Big Ten West Championship game, de facto version. Wisconsin up 10 on Minnesota until Mitch Leidner works his way into the end zone. 3-point lead for the Badgers. Winner gets Ohio State in the Big Ten title game.
Winner gets the Buckeyes minus J.T. Barrett, who fractured his ankle. If you missed it earlier, the Buckeyes got past the Wolverines, but will not have Barrett for the remainder of the season as they await the winner of that game in Madison. Fowler heads to the sidelines now for a breather here on 2nd and 7. Clock inside 6.5 minutes. They fake it to Cook. Winston fires over the middle. O'Leary makes the catch inside the 30. O'Leary with his 4th catch has both of Winston's touchdowns tonight.
You're going to have O'Leary right here work back. The receiver clears it out. You're going to have a fullback in the flat. But watch Nick O'Leary. This play takes a while. That's why you have the quarterback rolling out. You have him covered here, and there the tight end frees up. Great recognition and finding him there by Jameis Winston.
Cook hit hard. 1-yard loss as Gorman, the safety, came up.
Of all these safeties, he has been by far the most consistent at coming up in run support. The senior out of Miami.
Get the feeling, Kirk, a Florida State touchdown here should just about do it. They get to 9 points. Going to be very hard for the Gators to dig back. If Florida can force a field goal here, there's still hope for Florida.
Jameis not in any hurry at all here, working that play clock down.
Dante Fowler back on the field on 2nd and 11. Emotional Leary, and now whistle before the snap. False start.
Right side of the offensive line.
False start, 51 offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
You talked about it, Kirk, these tight games, these rivalry games, so much emotion, mental and physical fatigue come in. We've seen some sloppiness here after halftime.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jameis Winston pretty fired up here. And sometimes you get out of rhythm when you start to work clock. You start to try to work that play clock. The offensive linemen have been in a rhythm all night with a certain snap count, going in a little bit faster tempo, and then you slow it down, it affects them.
Winston has it in the backfield. They wrestle him down, slam him down hard. Is the ball out? Oh, he handed it off just before he got hammered there.
Yep. Little shovel pass as he was going down. Brian Cox had him. 94, Cox has him. He's about to pull him down, and Jameis Winston just a little shovel pass.
That's risky.
Well, it'd be an incompletion if he ended up dropping it.
If he dropped it, yeah, but he's throwing it right into heavy traffic there.
And now it's 3rd down. Start to thinking about Aguayo and his distance. One of the best kickers, if not the best kicker we've seen in a long time in college football. This has been an interesting play call here from Jimbo Fisher.
Play clock winding down on 3rd and 18. They are within range, but just barely. And now a timeout taken from the sidelines just before the play clock expired.
Reese Davis with you. The Goodyear superior performance coming from Cody Kessler of USC, who just riddled Notre Dame. 6 touchdown passes. 49-14 the score is with 20 seconds left. 2nd most points Trojans have ever scored against the Irish. Dropped double nickels on them 40 years ago.
Reese, thank you. 3rd and 18. A handout from Cook, who takes off and finds a seam. Knocked down at the 20. Short of a first down, but he's improved the chances for a field goal, assuming that's what Fisher decides to do. Boy, he is dangerous when he gets the football. Came close to breaking that.
Yeah, and the linebacker Antonio Morrison and the safety just took themselves right out of the gap that they were in. Opened up, and Dalvin Cook, again with that acceleration, almost picked up the first down.
Dalvin Cook, Kirk, against this tough defense, averaging 6.7 per carry tonight. He's got 141 yards, a career high. Sets up a 37-yarder for Aguayo, who has missed only 2 this year. Knocks it through. So the Seminoles stretch the lead to 5. Gators have 3:23 to work with. Beautiful night here in Tallahassee. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Whether you're going for it from a few yards out or from miles away, go with the tire superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. So the Seminoles up by 5. Jimbo Fisher tells us, I sleep like a baby at night. I always know my guys are going to come through. I trust him, and he does. But look at the stress on the face. It's been like that building up throughout the season. Same thing against Boston College. Aguayo boots it deep, and Dubose, who has 4 career returns for touchdowns, is going to bring it out. Good coverage job. They knock him out at the 21. Monday night on ESPN. Dolphins take on the Jets, who've had a rough year. 8:15 Eastern time, also on the Watch ESPN app. No other night is a Monday night. Old rivalry had Joe Willie Namath. Jets great.
Yeah, that was great.
Tuscaloosa this morning.
Treon Harris is a true freshman with only a few starts under his belt. This is why you practice 2 minutes at the end of a Thursday practice throughout the year. You hope he's gotten enough mental and reps and also reps in practice to prepare him for this kind of setting in this environment against this kind of defense.
Flag. I think the Noles came off the edge quickly. Harris escapes and scampers, and that penalty won't matter as he gets out to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, I think they'll decline that. DeMarcus Walker, number 44, jumped the gun there a little bit, trying to get that pass rush. Boy, Harris, their best play is when Harris evades
Offside.
pressure.
Defense number 44. The penalty is declined. First down.
You think about the young quarterbacks, Brad Kite and Miami on the Canes home field, trying to drive Miami down the field against this defense and get a win. And now Harris, whose father, Ice Harris, is an assistant coach for the Hurricanes, trying to do the same. But the Noles defense in this 27-game streak, when they've needed to, has been able to make plays. Harris, plenty of time. A dart incomplete, trying to get it across the middle there to Powell.
Powell, the true freshman, 5'9", 175 pounds, who's in for LaTroy Pittman, number 9. Remember, Pittman made the mental mistake. He had a holding call, and he followed that mistake up with a dead ball personal foul. And he is now on the sideline. So you see him with his helmet back there. He's not playing because of those 2 mistakes, so they're relying on a true freshman to play that slot receiver in Powell.
Harris now takes off and is dragged down at the 35. Not letting him escape that time is Mario Edwards. It'll be 3rd and long.
Well, that time they did a better job of corralling him. You had Mario Edwards from the outside, but Eddie Goldman as well, trying to just keep him in a box. You don't want to let him get outside because, as we said all night, he can find a lane and pick up some yards in a hurry.
Batted down again. For a 3rd time, the Noles bat down. A Harris pass at the line. That time it was Mario Edwards. It's 4th down.
They brought the blitz to the offense's right with both the safety, Tyler Hunter, and the nickelback, Jalen Ramsey. But it was Mario Edwards and that big right hand knocking that ball down against the quick pass of Harris.
They'll go for it. The Noles perhaps one stop here from stretching the win streak to 28.
Got to win up top. Florida State's going to call the timeout.
Muschamp choosing not to punt it away and burn his timeouts on defense, at least not yet. 2 minutes and 16 seconds in the Florida coaching career of Will Muschamp, and he's going to go for it on 4th and 8.
Chris, I said earlier, you've got to win with Demarcus Robinson in this one-on-one matchup up at the top. Now the Gators are going to call a timeout. I thought they might save all their timeouts in case they didn't make it. If you don't, if you don't make it here on 4th down and Florida State and Jameis Winston get the ball back, you got to think they're going to run the ball 3 straight times. You have 3 timeouts. You forced a field goal. You're down 8, but you're still in the mix. Now you use a timeout. Now you got to make the. Now you got to convert here. The game's over.
We've seen time and time again the Seminoles find ways to hold on, survive, make enough plays to win. This game really hasn't followed the typical blueprint. They have not overwhelmed anybody here after halftime. Winston has not had a brilliant second half, but the defense really has been the story, limiting the damage from those mistakes.
Well, yeah, I think last week against Boston College, it had a little bit of a different feel from what we've seen most of this year, and tonight, a lot of the same thing.
Can Harris produce, a true freshman?
They've moved Robinson to the slot now.
Noles bring pressure. Harris fires downfield, looping throw incomplete, and a flag comes in. A flag comes in. Ronald Darby was defending down the middle. Pass interference, Florida State.
But Chris, I think it might have been Tyler Hunter, the safety, who was up against a young freshman.
Defense number 26, 15 yards, previous spot.
26 didn't touch.
P.J. Williams.
Well, 26 didn't touch anybody, so it couldn't have been on him. That's interesting. Tyler Hunter was where the official was standing right here. This is where the official withdrew the flag. That was the only,
right?
and that was the only contact there was against any Florida State defender. That's the contact right there.
So a 4th and 8 penalty, and the crowd here voicing strong displeasure. But the Gators at midfield now with 2:11. Harris, plenty of time, directing traffic, fires over the head. The Noles pass rush has not really got at the quarterback today. He's had time when they needed it.
Jalen Ramsey, I know he likes to get involved in trash talking, but late in a game like this, with the way these officials have been throwing flags in this rivalry game, he better be careful. Because he makes a stop and an incompletion, and he's jawing to a Florida receiver on the way back to the huddle. That very easily could become a dead ball 15-yard penalty. He's got to be careful, play with emotion, but understand the circumstances here.
Good protection again. Downfield throw again, incomplete. And it's 3rd and 10. They're working deep downfield curve, not trying to chip away at this Noles defense.
And they still have 2 minutes with 2 timeouts, and you got a young quarterback. I don't think you need to take all these desperation shots downfield. There's plenty of time. Plenty of time. You could even mix in a run here or there. There's no reason to just heave the ball downfield. Florida State's playing with 2 deep safeties, both on the hash mark. Makes it very hard to get the ball thrown downfield.
2 plays to get 10 yards. Harris, a ton of time. Over the middle, fires into heavy traffic. Incomplete. It bounced. Diving attempt by Brutus. And it's 4th and 10. Once again, Harris throwing deep into coverage.
Again, this is part of growing up as a quarterback. It's very easy for all of us to sit at home or sit up here and say, wow, the tight end in the left flat was open. Why was he looking over here? That's why you try to simplify it, especially on 4th down. They're going to call another timeout. This is when you go over to your quarterback and you say, what do you like? What are you most comfortable with?
Well, at this point in his development, throwing from the pocket is not the strength of Treon Harris. They've got him good protection. Hasn't been sacked yet today. Florida State Again, a stop away from extending the streak. The longest streak in the last 30 years here. One more and they get to 28, tying 2 different streaks by Alabama and 1 by Oklahoma. If they survive, they'll play for 29 in a row in Charlotte. Next week, ACC championship game against Georgia Tech.
Got to find matchups. The receivers have beaten these corners when they've had their chances one-on-one. They've moved to Marcus Robinson, their best receiver again, to the slot to the left.
Harris delivers over the middle, behind his receiver. Had Robinson open, couldn't find him. And the Noles take over.
A tough throw, but a ball that Demarcus Robinson gets both his hands on and has a chance to make a spectacular catch. 4th down and long. He finds the soft spot in the zone between the linebackers and the safety, and I know the ball is thrown behind him. He's your best receiver. You'd love to think that he'd have a chance to be able to make that play.
On that drive, Harris 0 for 6, not able to complete a pass. It was prolonged by the pass interference call. Florida had to burn 2 timeouts in that sequence as well, so they're down to 1. Some miscommunication. Jameis went one way, Cook was on the other side of him, knocked down, and Florida really can't do a whole lot here just with the 1 timeout.
Now they used their last timeout, and that will be it. Florida State will snap the ball a couple times and they'll survive another one. Georgia Tech's up next.
And that option attack will present a challenge. They rarely play. Knowles won a couple of years ago in the conference championship game, a hard-earned 6-point win.
Look how mad these guys are. Randy Sanders back there, they're frustrated right now. Jameis Winston's he's got something going on in his mind. I mean, you're killing the clock here. He turns the wrong way to hand the ball off. Now, it's no big deal. I mean, they handed it off. But that just kind of tells you, where's his mind tonight? What's going on with... You're not used to seeing him make these kind of mistakes.
I think the frustration is shown on Jimbo Fisher, who really does defend his quarterback in every way. But as continually said, a lot of these mistakes are not Jameis's fault. He's talked about the receivers, other people, but I think, Kirk, you pointed out earlier, the interceptions and then some of these plays that have confounded you after halftime. It's just not been typical Jameis Winston tonight.
No, not at all. And even the facial expressions, you don't usually see this in the second half from Jameis. Usually it's that laser focus, locked in on what needs to happen. In fact, this entire team, offense and defense, feeds off of his energy, his decision making, what he does on the football field. And I think Florida State has to look at themselves and consider themselves very fortunate to be able to get out of here with a 24-19 win. Don't forget that pick 6 and how that changed this game around by Terrence Smith.
Cook takes the handoff. He is knocked down with 48 seconds to go. It's 4th down. They just have to snap it with about 7 seconds to go and survive again. Jameis Winston, just 12 of 24, a career high 4 picks, the first FBS quarterback this year to throw 3 picks in the first quarter. But the Florida State defense rising up. Florida not cashing in those mistakes like they needed to. Smith with the pick 6. And Fisher's team just knows how to win games. Wasn't classic finishing by any means. They held on barely today, but they win, survive and advance. And you will not keep them out of a playoff if they keep winning, that's for sure.
No. I mean, if they win this game, which they're going to, and they beat Georgia Tech, Florida State's going to go into the Final Four. And being undefeated, they deserve to be in that position. Early in this game, Florida came after him. They put pressure on him, but it was also him making some poor decisions. 3 interceptions in the first quarter alone, but he does a good job of putting that behind him. Became a different Florida State offense. Found Nick O'Leary a couple times in man coverage, made great throws, and usually when he puts that stuff behind him, he just kind of continues to go up and up and up in a game. Today, that was not the case. And again, you could see it all in his face right there.
Some weird plays. You know, there was the fumbled punt, Beatty not even getting the kickoff before halftime. The Gators were able to cash in and stop that 21-zip run. So far from flawless, but enough to survive again, barring a crazy mishap here. Beatty on the punt, just takes a step, boots it away. Trying to make a play is DuBose. Triple zeros on the clock, and the Gator knocked down at the 30-yard line. A flag does come in. There is a flag way back where it was punted.
He roughed the punter.
Running into the kicker. That penalty will be declined. Ball game is over.
So Florida State marches on to the ACC championship game. Win streak intact, 28 in a row, and Will Muschamp's Florida coaching career is over. Two friends embracing here. They go back to Saban's staff at LSU. We'll see Muschamp back on the sidelines very soon, probably as a defensive coordinator somewhere.
No doubt about it.
And we'll see Fisher and the Yellow Jackets in Charlotte next Saturday night, one step away from a playoff. Down to Heather Cox.
Chris, thanks so much. Coach, congratulations. You finished undefeated regular season back-to-back. Something that no FSU team has ever done. How have you maintained such a level of focus throughout 28 consecutive games?
The kids have felt it. They do play. We got a lot of room to improve. Our defense was tremendous tonight. They just keep fighting and finding ways, and my hat's off to our kids. And we got to play better, though. I got to coach them better, and we got to play better.
You talk about wanting to improve, wanting to play better. Where can those areas be improved?
Well, I think a little bit of everything. I think that the rivalry games, you don't ever know what goes on, but we guys got to clean up, take care of the ball a little better.
Talk about rivalry games. All week you've preached about execution over emotion. When push came to shove and things got chippy, how did you get your team to take that message to heart?
Well, we did. We did it at the right time. We didn't execute all the time. We had a lot of it we didn't, but we did it at the right time, and that's what matters.
Coach, without Carlos Williams out there and with Jameis Winston having an atypical night, what has the emergence of Dalvin Cook done for this offense?
Dalvin Cook has become a big-time player, and it was a big-time job by him tonight. We relied on him the whole night.
You've talked so much about your team's ability to finish games, but what do you say to those that hold close games against you?
Hey, the object of the game is to win. It's not figure skating. The object of the game is to win. It's not judging. It's wins and losses on the scoreboard. But at the same time, we do have to play better. But hey, we're undefeated. We're the only undefeated team in the country, and we got to get better because I'm going to tell you what, we got a good Georgia Tech team waiting on us.
Congrats on 28 straight, Coach. Thank you.
It is not figure skating. The folks here at Doak Campbell got their money's worth. Clemson in overtime, Notre Dame, Boston College, and now Florida. The Noles head to Charlotte 12-0. They win it by 5. So we've seen Mississippi State struggle, Ohio State advance, Florida State advance, Oregon is later, and now Alabama is coming up against Auburn. For Heather and Kirk, so long for now from Tallahassee. Time now for the Iron Bowl at Bryant Denny Stadium. Brent Musburger and Jesse Palmer. Guys?